there's no need to be mild. You were raised to behave, but you were born to be wild. Yannick, don't panic, Fazel's on the way. Leeway's sliding through the ranks, and he's here to stay.
Legacy of words of picture catch your stare. Oh, Emerald Town. Oh, you go with elders. Legacy of dancing in the Emerald Bell. Winds of facial catch your stare.
Change is coming through the Nichibotsu. It's nature now, no one yet supposes. But don't fear now the threat it poses, 'cause everybody's ready for the rain of roses. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to an adventure. A battle most foul at Stone Serpent Bridge. The forces of the Emerald and Golden Rose have fallen upon one another, as the former has turned a raid into the site of an ambush. The Golden Rose's forces, taken completely unawares, are now fallen upon by the Heartspanner of the Emerald Rose. And amidst all this clattering chaos, one humble peasant we'll see who's volunteered to participate in this conflict. We'll see their fortunes rise and fall as the one, the only, the humble Aiziupi finds their way, spear in hand, onto the field. They are truly the protagonists of this story, but we do cut back to some other schmoes. Yes, so, when last we left our heroes, Liwei, you hit the dirt, the stinging flat of a blade, hot against your jaw and skin. You have been struck hard by Conrad Gold, seeking to put you under while the village burns. And you now face the din of battle as an ambush is sprung, and there's chaos and bloodshed on all sides.
All right.
And as this sets in, you find yourself surrounded by the adrenaline rush of blood and war. To the south, dust clouds of 3 units of raiders, a full company, coming in, light on horse with torches in hand. Who could hope to stop this impending force as Yannick rides at the head of his Emerald Fists, his Butai Ritters, with Yumis in hand, showering archery fire onto their enemy, heavier Ritters. But as all this takes shape, a pivotal moment is about to be decided not by armies and signals and war, but by one dude and his pet riding raptor, nestled deep in some soft mud. Fazel. You and I presume Cha-Cha as well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think Cha-Cha should be present for this.
All right,
She's
all
not
right.
like a combat animal.
Alright, so Fazel. We go to Fazel in the dirt, in the mud, in the muck, in the mire, sire, as horses begin to enter and kick up wasps' nests. I wonder who laid those here. And begin to bay and beck and get cut and caught down in this muddy islet in the middle of a river ford. There are some men-at-arms who are wearing a livery of no master, for indeed they seek to come here and in the darkness of flagless vagabondry commit evils upon your land. And one officer is thrown from his horse and sinking in the mud as he cries out to his men, trying to get a hold of this raid as they are stuck against the brackish waste on the northern side of this islet. The debris laid here has completely spiked what appear to be their intended plan to rush over. However, this officer may yet salvage it. He's off his horse, but he knows what to do. He's giving orders. He's trying to collect his steed or getting another. and he's starting to order his men to push on despite the chaos and the blockage. There are perhaps 150 cavalrymen here. At least some could get through with enough luck and skill. But Fazl is in the soft mud, a mere 15 feet from where this man clad in his skin of tin has struck the wet slough. And the master of the hunt shall now, on the spin of a dice, decide the fates of perhaps every man yet on this field. So, Fazl, what do?
I cast Fog Cloud.
Ah, yes, and at just that moment, the clouds begin to roll and roil in, and obfuscate all around. People cry out, "I can't see! It's a storm! It's a sign of the gods! It must be the flame! We have intruded across a border without declaration of war! I told you, we will be damned! The Sunde is upon us!" But, for all the screaming and kvetching, the officer yet yells down over the den, "I told you to shit before you got on your horses, men! What's all this you're spewing? Now stay to your saddles and push north! That village burns!" And he's trying to see to his horses, "My horse! My horse! I say this company's command for a horse!" And he's up on his feet again. He's got his cap properly doffed. He's got his sword in hand. His torch is doused in the mud. He's not even bothering to go for it. Basil, they have not detected you. There is a cloud of fog in around the zone, and the horsemen are completely in disarray. This absolute swarm of ground wasps is coming up with a vengeance. People are screaming out as men are dinged. And the officer says, "What now? Call fire! Call fire! Who shoots? From where?" And someone says, "Damnable hornets and wasps! Wasps! What are you doing?" And he seems completely exasperated, in chaos, not understanding what's going on. Someone is trying to force their horse across the river, and you hear of a horse that has definitely just stepped into a fucking nest full of red ants.
Ooh, nice.
What are you doing, Fazl, at this juncture? It seems like this guy is still gonna push forward despite all of the absurdities of the world. Do you want? Are you Arnold Schwarzenegger out of this mud right now?
I'm going to creep silently over. It's low in the mud.
All right.
And basically make two attacks. One at his Achilles tendon, the other at his neck.
Alright, so he's looking around, he's partially sunk into the mud. His Achilles is perfectly exposed because he's only wearing greaves that gird his front because he would need to, guard the back. And you go for that attack with advantage. Your blue crystal scraping scythe gleams magically.
Oh, okay. Then, attack.
Your blade rakes the soft exposed flesh and brings blood and flesh strewn white hot into the drink of mud.
Okay. And 11 off the one.
Alright, so you strike the foe deep in, and he is crying out in pain. He collapses, and his helmet falls off at a crucial moment. He looks up, dumbfounded and confounded even, as a purple light shings through the cloud, and the blade finds his neck. Give me that damage.
And this one is going to get the d6 of bug damage.
The hornets rake into his opened neck and slam up and down his jugular and into his soft flesh. His eyes twist back as they too are impaled, and your blade rakes open his neck. A frosty purple finish, as if the finely minted Gatorade powder left your body. And he is dead. Basil, you have slain the company commander. of these men. What would you do in the immediate aftermath? You have cover, he's dead, everyone's going to notice that the dude who's trying to keep order just stopped shouting. Or will they? Where is Fazl going to be when that happens? You know that your man Yannick is soon to be engaged by the enemy Poop Gang, the enemy anti-party.
Fazl is going to slip into the mud, try to nestle himself back into with the nest, and he's gonna cackle. Just try to make it like echo throughout the fog so that.
Oh yeah. Someone looks in and says, "He's dead! His throat's slit, he's dead, and he's coated! Blood everywhere! The Hornets have killed him! My god, I hear them laughing at us!" Man, get yourself to... Oh, it's true, he's dead! He's dead! People are falling from their horses. Their horses are giving over in the mud. Some of them are spurring straight out into the water. It was a slaughter. And, there was chaos. Meanwhile, the battle unfolds. So... While Fazl is giving him the old razzle-dazzle, as it's known, there is a great battle unfolding. So, Yannick, so Leeway, right? You get back up on your feet. You've just been absolutely served, right?
Yeah.
What do you do immediately after that? You know, Vio is crouched up here in the shrine with the peasant levies all around this little hill. The peasant levies are out here. Soldiers are emerging. Your soldiers are emerging from these buildings. Ike is at the tip of the fucking spear out there.
Right.
Ready to crash into the foe.
Great. Question. So, Conrad, is he continuing past me towards the west, or is he staying here?
He's riding on, and then Veil Blades are hopping out of every building, rolling over logs from little firewood shacks they were hiding in, climbing out of wells, emerging from the drapery, rolling out from under beds, opening doors, opening hatches, hatching doors, emerging from under rolled sod that was actually merely a facade, hiding 5 more men. Like a clown car of Veil Blades just emerged in front of him. So he looks like, so he's riding in like there's no one in front of me and I'm leading this, and then all the Veil Blades emerge, and he just calls company charge. Like he sees this happening, is totally mystified, but instinctually orders his men to charge.
Great. How far away are the men from me?
The men are like riding all past you, generally speaking, in a 100-foot area, trying to go down this dusty lane of the town. You could be really close to them if you stayed right in the middle, or a bit off if you would have taken the hit and then rolled to the grass and dirt in the
Oh, yeah. You know what? I would love to have rolled like towards the south.
Yes, you rolled to the south.
Yeah, what I would like to do, just to create some disarray, is that while they're starting to ride past, I'm going to look over to where Conrad is and think, okay, if we separate him from his forces, then this battle's won. So I'm going to cast Fear. It's a 30-foot cone of, like, anyone who fails their saving throws will suddenly, their worst fears are manifested from me, from my direction, and they'll end up, if they fail, running as far as they can away from where I am.
Yeah, so you're going to be able to put a dent in the morale of that unit absolutely before the first blow is struck on them.
Yeah.
So they're making their wisdom save. I'm going to make 3 wisdom saves to generally describe, like, you know, an average among the men.
Sounds good.
So we have one who did poorly, one who did great, one who did all right. What's your DC? Is the real question.
14.
As it happens, you need to be exceptional to not get feared on. So yes! Cone, you can't get all of the heavy ritters, but that you knock off 2 morale from that unit before they even clash. And Conrad, barely looks behind him as this happens. He rides forwards. He is striking the enemy unit, and battle is erupting. Yannick, you're riding hard at the front of the Emerald's Fist. Iki at your side, and Li Wei out ahead. You hear from the south the chaos and see a fog cloud, and you see swirling insects and storm clouds, certain that Fazlo is presently wreaking havoc on the enemy raider cavalry,
yeah.
perhaps even rendering them a non-factor. And you are riding in as all of your actions go off. So the Emerald Fists, right? They do a drive-by shot. Their drive-by shot deals 1 morale damage to these dudes.
Nice.
Your Armor Piercers fire at the nearest unit. They deal 1 morale damage to these dudes. The Yama Jaeger let loose their javelins, dealing 1 morale damage to these dudes. Your Armor Piercers back here open fire also on the tip of the spear heavy raiders here. -1 morale to these dudes. And Kurai from the hills opens up on the enemy crossbowmen, dealing again 1 morale damage to those dudes. So fire has been leashed, and now you are out and among the men. All of your guys who successfully ambushed onto a unit will get to actively have the shock property, aka they are striking the enemy as if though they're flanking them. So they're striking as if though from the rear because they're in the middle of them. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but you are riding your Emerald Fists directly into the rear of Conrad Gold's forces.
That is correct.
All right, it's not very favorable terrain. It's street fighting to an extent, but it's like a village street, so you're fine around the houses. But you can't keep a cohesive wedge. Your men break off and filter like a rushing wave of a typhoon, crashing upon the rocks of these houses and into the enemy knights who've begun to torch torches, or toss torches, depending on Lee's tongue-twisting ability today. And, blood, fire, roar emerges. And, yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. So the Veil Blades, they are weak to Ritters. They are not happy. A frontal does not matter. And the inherent damage on the Heavy Ritter, I know that I'm not bumping at least 2, yeah. So, your Veil Blades you popped out in front of the cav are already up at 1 gaming. They deliver in kind 1 damage plus 1 for the ambush due to their nature, and these dudes all clash as well. They're not trading great based on relative type. Because it's assault on these guys, but the terrain difference of being in the street is somewhat mitigating their advantage. The multiple clashes against all of these incoming foes, some of which are considered to be flanking at them, leaves this unit of Heavy Ritters up at 1 gaming, almost routed already. These Golden Thorns have an enemy inside of them. That's not where they want them to be, but they have an inherent 2 damage, and that's all they have going for them because it's the same type matchup. Your Flatheads under Bobrin are by far getting the better of this exchange.
Yeah,
Blood
Bobrin.
flows. These Flathead Ashigar also come in to strike them. It is considered a frontal engagement for both. And both trade a 1-1 as they are spearmen locked as spearmen against one another. And spears and halberds clash in the blocks. These units don't even know what they're doing as Eichen von Ortel brings his men out. And in order to avoid getting outflanked by the swordsman, strikes on a diagonal against these spearmen. He brings down his flanking blow with an inherent 1 to great effect, and his guys do get hurt because it's war, but they're not getting nearly as fucked up. Boyar Zdan Torslava, he's got the flank, he's got the element of surprise, he's got the innate 1. In a single charge, Zidane rides into the enemy spearmen, and they are broken. As the first of the banners break and snap, and the men are forced into mud and rocks and back across the bridge in disarray, as Boyar Zidane Torslava rides forth, arm and banner high, as he says, "For the evil rose, loyal unto death!" And there was a grand rally, and the enemy's forces have all just seen that they have been cut off from the rear. They are not, shall we say, having a great day in the morale department.
Yeah.
It is now the enemy's turn. They are in disarray. The Raider Cavalry does all of about jack and shit. These crossbowmen desperately attempt to return fire against enemies who are hard up in woods. They do not succeed. These crossbowmen on this hill let loose upon the Yama-Jaegers, seeing them as an immediate threat, punching in with, yes, 2 damage from their crossbows. And that is surely a loss felt amongst your skirmishers. And these crossbowmen have a bit of a debate. And they roll and... Greg, what do you call odds or evens? Greg?
I was having the moral dilemma.
Yeah?
I'm gonna call odd.
Alright.
Ah, fuck!
So, the crossbowmen look in disarray, and one of them shouts, "Is the enemy matched them? Have they emerged? Is it a wizard? Do we shoot? Do we shoot in the cloud?" And someone, cooler as Perello, said, "Shoot in the cloud? What are you fucking talking about? It's a dust cloud." And they spend their time getting into cover, not even sure what to do. They haven't received direct orders, and they're in bad states. They don't know what's happened. They don't have good standing orders for this circumstance. They do not act. They don't fire into their own group, but they don't act either. It's the enemy's turns. The men across the bridge are backed up. They can't get past their own spearmen. This spearman is the regular spearman, nobody special, and a front on against an assault. The Yama-Jaeger do take one because it's a clash. However, by virtue of type and inherent damage, over half of the morale of the spearmen is wiped out. As men with axes get in, cleave through, cutting their spears, hacking into the foe, breaking at their shields. Yama-Jaegers are going to win if this isn't accounted for. These swordsmen see that the men have just popped up off of this hill. They're rushing in against Ike. They have type advantage, they're striking to front, but they're not doing great on the difference of height. So they're not doing as much as they might have. They do get into a scrape, and Ike manages to keep the men in good order. These spearmen make they're in chaos, they're being shot, they're being struck. They can't turn, they're stuck in this clash, so they are at the flanked position. They clash again, flanked. They take out a bit more of Ike's men, but these spearmen, on their own turns attack, rout completely. The Golden Thorns are an elite unit of spearmen and halberdiers. They are bearing the proper livery of the gold. They have taken extra fire per the directive of Yannick. And they're about to show the strength of their metal as they deal an inherent 2 against these flatheads. They do not have any positional bonuses. They also go down on their own turn, despite their strengths.
Ooh.
However, these men see that their comrades breaking before them and move forward to clash. They are frontal against an inherent 1, and the flatheads here break apart as Bobrin sees all of his comrades in bloody disarray and says, "Fall back! Fall back, everyone! We're not dying here!" And manages to withdraw the living. And with that, yeah, chaos is sprung. The Heavy Ritters and the Veil Blades are yet in a tight contest, as Yannick and Li Wei are on opposite side of Conrad Gold, and they spy the enemy force. And you see a big 3 in the enemy company who are of note. 2 on war horses, 1 riding the back of another's. You see a man you've heard of, Charles Lott the Rondell, a ritter, but to be sure, a rank bastard. You can't see this because I'm done. One moment. To be sure, a rank bastard, who fights with trickery. And Conrad Gold in glistening golden armor. Behind him, Siraj, the Bloodletter. She has a great axe upon her back and a lance in her hand. She looks around and points at the banners. And she shouts over the din, "There he is! The rat fucking bastard! The butcher's son! Let's do this!" He's fallen for it. Now's our turn. And Conrad turns, swings out his blade, looks at you, and says, above the din of battle, as the chaos flows in just a moment, as you ride in and the adrenaline fills you, and he says, cursed are we to live this life, Yannick, and not another. So here we are. The man who would be my friend now made my enemy. I tell you this, come out and kill me, or let me kill you, that we may hurry on to the next life, and begin this cycle happy anew. And Severage, like, pushes him as he says this shit, hops out of the saddle, and says, fuck that! Yannick, your father was a fucking coward, and your mother a whore, the great whore of Gatach. When I get to your city, and I'm done burning it, I'm going to cook her liver while she lives, and drink my mead from it. For Clan Ziltbog, against you treacherous bastards, every last fucking one. And she cracks open this wooden thing. You see this weird slurp that definitely has mushroom chunks in it. Goes straight into her mouth. And it starts to like stream over her. And she looks in her eyes like nothing you've ever seen before. A gaze to pierce the heavens of a woman removed from this earth. And she charges at your soldiers with a big fuck off spear in hand, and a look in her eyes like she's of another world, with her field pike leveled against you. Conrad whips out his blade, and his trusted man at his side, Charlotte the Rondel, rides up to assist him. At this juncture, it looks like the meeting of your forces are inevitable as the Emerald's fists strike his heavy ritters, and I can tell you how that resolves, which is to say, they're both heavy ritters. One of them is hitting the other from behind. Your units break. Oh wait, no, they're not heavy ritters. Oof, they're up at one gaming. They have an inherent 2 and nothing else on you. So you crash into him, your units are getting by and far the better of him. The peasant levies are about to advance from their position and stab as well. This could be a total overrun on the enemy command unit. The Fruit Gang, however, is breaking off from all other considerations, Yannick. And you can tell the 3 of them are intent on your head. The Butai Ritters around you can help, but this is about to be a battle between heroes and villains. And
well, they can come get some. So as we're charging forward, I have Bull's Kiss out, and I'm pointing at Conrad, and I'm just bellowing, "Conrad, you had your chance!" And I look at Iki, and I'm like, "Silence that woman!" And I'm going straight for Conrad.
Iki says,
yes,
"A pleasure." So Iki rides up, and Severi the Bloodletter rams the field pike through the throat of his fucking horse, just like complete reckless abandon, and then uses ram it home. She fixes the weapon into its neck and like lets it ride over a ruin. Iki for his part stands up in the saddle and just flicks his katana right across her fucking face, as if
I figure he just stands up and just like, wee!
Yeah. He strikes her. However, the strength of his hit is not what it should have been, or what you think. This woman barely seems bothered by the damage, but Iki squares off against her, and they dance and they duel, and dust picks up as she trades to a giant axe. Yeah, I mean, she's got the shroom juice in her, man. You don't even know. Meanwhile, Yannick, you ride in on Conrad, and Li Wei off to the side with the peasants up around you, looking to you, their impromptu village elder. What do you do now as this battle is met?
great. At this point, I'll simply just call out to these peasants and say, "We ride forth for our king, King Yannick!" And then I'll ride, where I'm riding to try to get in that position, that sweet spot, the spot that the king and I have been in so many times.
The peasants bring out from a barn a horse that is really, barely even contained even by chains. And she runs to your side with a great clock that rips apart the very earth. As a legendary steed, Redhilt, arrives at your side. You swing onto her back, and she, possesses a mind of her own, rides you into battle. At this juncture, it's initiative time, friends.
All
I'm gonna put you on the
right.
board. And Fazil, I'm also going to put you on initiative. We're going to assume that you finish mopping up the enemy and then come join the action one round later. Am I correct in that assumption?
That would be a fair and correct assumption to make.
Alright. Charizlot the Rondell. So again, if you have your Butai Ridders breaking all around, striking to the enemy men, they're trying to make sure the enemy's Ridders don't put anything between their lord and victory. And his men have fanned out as well. And you have this opening here in the middle of the street. And Charlotte the Rondell, he looks you over. He's about to take the charge as Conrad holds up a hand and says, "No, Charizlot, this is mine and Yannick's fight." And he points back at the charging Redhilt, and he says, "I think our elder needs some advice from the younger generation." And says, "As you wish, my liege." And he rounds his warhorse, and he rides towards Li Wei.
All right.
And he
All right.
brings a lance down towards you. And he tries to strike you from his horse with his lance.
Okay.
And I believe that hits.
Oh, I'm gonna use a reaction here. I was saving this, but with Conrad calling out Yannick, as a matter of honor, I would dare not besmirch Yannick's honor. So, I'm gonna use cutting words on this, and essentially it'll be like a Charizlot, huh? You think you can stand against the Emerald Fist? And I'm gonna roll I'm gonna use up my reaction to roll a die 8 and subtract that from his attack roll.
Alright.
-8, baby!
He reels, he puts his lance in the dirt, but not saying, "Oh, the Emerald Fist, never." But the Emerald Drinking Buddy, common lowborn swine, Fiddleman. "Oh, I think you and I will do just fine. You 12." And he, angry as fuck, he's Mr. Shot, his shot wide, pretends, "Oh, I was just angry." And just fucking throws his lance into the dirt, breaking between some peasants. Shing! Whips out a blade that looks fell indeed. This short sword is serrated and possessed of an ill aura. And he points it right at you. And he's right next to you. He says, "You and me." And yeah, he seems to mean it.
I shift targets. You can't talk about Leeway like that.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of insults thrown. Now it's time for Steve.
Yeah.
As Conrad, you don't see his face, but the last thing you see between his eyes is a flash of a man doing something he knows he's going to regret. He pulls down the helmet and he rides forth to meet Yannick. And he raises his blade. And he brings forth his long sword in 2 great strides. And he makes the first of his strikes, and it flies wide.
Yes.
So
Back
as that flies wide though, and the
Yeah.
second one flies wide, the blade clangs off of my sword, and I mash it downwards and bring it around for a little bit of riposte.
Alright, yeah, you hit him with the riposte. He did not know that Yannick was a master of battle. The blood is fresh on the
yucky.
field, but yeah, you clatter against his armor as he takes the hit. He swung twice and missed twice. He sees that his men are fading all around him. But he does not give out. He does not lose heart. Instead, he cries forth to his men. For honor! And as ridiculous as it may seem to you that in the midst of a border raid he would invoke such a concept, he is truly a gallant leader. And the men, frightened, remember that they could not abandon him under any circumstance. And they remember his call to duty. And so he regains some of those frightened get close enough. And he regains the honor of these ridders. He's too far from these ridders. You've cut him off from healing this heavy ritter because he's just too far away. But, he has given these cries out as his commands. And, that is Conrad's turn. Basil, you are in the dirt, cackling, riding, slinking, sliding, moving through the waters and the rocks of the land. And you will arrive.
You know, sneaky, dirty guy.
Yeah, you will arrive shortly. You see
My
that
favorite kind.
the last of the Raider cavalry at one morale is stuck in the wood logs. The rest are full route. They're gone. They're not coming back from this. Because they disappear to the south. And you're on route. You're on deck. Basil is about to emerge on the next turn. Iki,
Very good.
Iki takes no more strikes in battle than absolutely necessary. He waits for her to overexert, to twist, to swing, and he cuts with one hand. At one point, with his wakizashi, using only 2 fingers to open a vein down the side of her forearm. As he says, "You have great strength, but without technique. You are as a bison caught in a vice." And she screams out unintelligibly, "The blood of the Zilfong clan will be avenged against the Butcher! He had to go and die, so here we'll have his son!" And he says quite simply, "I regret to inform you that as a Yojimbo, it should happen that the son of the Butcher is my charge, and you will not be harming him this day, but through me." And he continues to dance around. He delivers cutting blows. She occasionally manages to whap him hard in the thigh, or hit him with the flat of her axe, but she delivers no deep blow against him. He's only taken superficial cuts. And as for her, even though it looks like she's had some serious blood loss, it's like she doesn't even care. She's just going. And you see Iki not even bothering to take the service cuts anymore as he begins to line up and attempt thrusts, because he knows he's going to have to hit an organ to end this one. And Li Wei, you are clashing with Charizloth the
Right.
Rondell, a man known as a rake and a bastard, and a slippery and
Yeah.
slimy one at that.
Great. So Li Wei is going to look over towards Iki and say, cut her down. She spoke ill of Yannick's mother. And you know we don't tolerate that. And I'm going to send a Bardic Inspiration die over to Iki. And then I'm going to look to my good friend here, Charles Lot, and say, Charles Lot, do they call you Charles Lot the Charitable? We appreciate the donation of your lance. And I'm casting Vicious Mockery on him. So I would like him to make a little, good old wisdom saving throw for me.
As he's fuming at some lowborn who's just raking him over the coals. All of the peasants throw in a hearty laughter behind you. And he says, "The esteem of the lowborn matters not to true warrior." And he just kind of like stays there in his little classes resolve. He's coping.
All right.
Anything else you want to do in your turn?
You know what? I'm gonna circle around. Can I move over to here? I'll still stay within melee, so I don't get that attack of opportunity. But I'm trying to move a little bit closer, just in case.
Oh yeah, sure. So you come around, you stay engaged, you dance. He starts to throw superficial shots at you. You start to block them, but neither of you are going for yet. And in hand,
Right.
do you have Windfang and Giltspur?
Yes, absolutely.
Your glowing blue rapier, brilliantly crackling with the storm winds in one hand. Giltspur, glistening gold in the other. And
Yes.
Li Wei, that is your go. The peasants come in, and the peasants break upon the heavy ridders out front. And it is a so the peasant levies don't have an inherent. However, one is flanking and they are both blocks against Cav. Once again, Conrad's force is down to up at one game. So Leeway, you've brought them to bear. You've said your piece, and now Yannick, it is your turn. You face against Conrad Gold, and you know that if you can finish the Fook Gang fast enough, it's all over, baby.
So when he yells for honor, right? I literally lift up the visor of my helmet and I spit on the ground at him as I pull back my sword and I say, "Honor! You have no idea what the word honor means. How dare you let that word come from your lips? You follow that as your father as a sycophant follows. He is a fool, and you are a coward just like him." And then I'm going in for the old swinging low, and then I'm going for that area in the back of his helmet that has that gap that I noticed whenever he went back the other time.
He did. Let's see that strike. Let's see that strike with advantage. See if you can knock his helmet from him.
So, sorry. I had this ready and I wasn't. Okay, here we go. So this is the advantage.
Yep. You knock his helmet free. His AC is reduced by 1. Give me the damage.
Okay, so this adds that 1d8 for the Huya.
Good. Yeah. So you deal 17 damage.
So that's the first one as I clip his helmet off. And it's like, it's bringing it back, right? This is now for the second attack, and it's bringing it back and around so that I can... as I'm bringing it, I'm like, "You look better without metal on your face, you coward!" And I swing in with the next one. And you know it's coming after this.
I do.
If it hits.
That is a hit. That is a hit.
Nice. My dog thinks I'm upset. She came and put her head on my lap. Like, "Are you okay, Dad?"
Oh, this is precious.
So at that point in time, as that kind of hits through, I do action surge and go for my other 2 attacks.
Right,
If that's okay.
No,
If I'm allowed.
yes, absolutely. Unleash the beast. Yannick
So-
is going all in here. Tip of the spear. Okay. Hit. Damage. Yeah.
Just not.
You let him fucking have it.
And the last one.
Oh,
Oh my
baby.
gosh!
Let's see that. Let's see that. Okay.
So as that last one, I'm swinging with all I got, right? And I'm like, I'm just rage, just pure rage. I'm like, "I extended you the open hand. We could have been friends. We could have been greater, but you chose the path of foolishness. Now give up!"
Yeah. You fucking let him have it, and you feel something crack under your blade, and you see blood and a huge bulge of pain in his eyes. You've hit his jaw hard. His responses don't even come through clear as he yells, "Then finish this! Kill me!" And he seems to mean it.
I level my sword at him, and I say, "Drop your weapon. Call your men off, and let us deal with this as men instead of this foolish manner. We can fix this."
And he says simply, "There's only one way this ends. Now that she's dead." And it's your turn, I believe. And and you look like you've ruined his jaw in some way. There's blood coming from it. He's fucked up. He's not talking in his normal diction.
If it is my turn, I would flat him. I would not kill him. I would flat him.
Yeah, he's not dead. He's not dead.
Yeah, no, I would flat him. Vio would probably be pretty pissed at me if I killed him because we need to take this guy back for
This boy needs
the
a date.
courts.
Yeah, this boy needs a date in court.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, Suraj, the Bloodletter says, "I tire of you, samurai. What are you gonna do? Show me your next technique?" And then she whistles. And in a very dishonorable display, I would like to note, because this is a duel in the Fook Gang, right? Fook Gang on Fook Gang combat. Very dishonorable display. One of the enemy warhorses charges through and like headbutts Iki, who hops back and slashes at the rider. Iki is temporarily brought out of this tight circle of the fight as she says, "You might want to die, but there's no bringing back everyone Sigrun killed."
And as she's starting to spout this, I turn towards her and I'm like, I am not my father. This would not have happened underneath my watch. I feel your pain for the loss of your families. That would not happen underneath my watch.
And she says, "There's only one way for Scorn to see another know their pain. Southlander." And she runs up at you, and she doesn't even seem like she's there as she says it. She's looking at maybe the clouds more so than you. Whatever that shit is she drank, it's hidden. All right, it's hidden. She runs up and she attacks actually Artax, not you.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Oh,
If
hell
you have a certain
no.
feat, you can direct the attack to you instead of Artax, but she comes up with her axe and she's trying to kill your horse.
Well, she can. I don't know. Does that hit Artax or not?
Thankfully, Artax is wearing his barding, so only one of her strikes goes through. She's bearing it two-handed, and she deals an additional 4 damage due to her rage. That's 12 damage. Artax is 22 HP. Artax is very, very hurt by that.
And then kicks her across the entire field.
Unfortunately, that is not yet happening.
Ooh.
Although we do know Artax is blooded. He stole that first kill, alright? He's no stranger to violence. But yeah, it seems like if your mount stays in this equation, Siraj might kill him. Charizlot the Rondell. He says, "Fair and fancy tricks and words." Now then, let's see those feet. And he gives you a feint that totally twists all of your knowledge of riding and Red Hilt's training as you almost lose control of the reins as he uses Dirty Fighter against you. Make a dex save, Niue.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's see. Saving throw. 15?
Alright, that's on the money. He spits and curses you and swings his vicious short sword. A 14 does hit on the money, I believe.
14 does hit, yeah.
He delivers 9 damage. You
So
feel-
as all of this happens over there, I would like to use a bonus action since I haven't this round, if
Yes,
that would be
yes.
okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm kind of reared back on Artax, and I'm kind of freaking out a little bit because I don't want to lose my horse. This thing's been with me, but I see Li Wei over there, and I see like all of this backstabbing bullshit that Charles Lot is over there doing, and I'm like, Li Wei, remember, disregard what that man says. You are an Emerald, and I use Rally on him.
Oh, snap.
So that would gain him superiority die roll plus my charisma modifier. So whatever I roll here plus 3.
Yes, my king.
So you got 10 temporary hit points.
Sick.
Yeah, so temp HP jacked. Li Wei, you feel yourself build and rally your faith in Yannick. So strong it will beat back even against the blade that threatens to end your life. Conrad Golds. Yeah. He winds up everything he has. And he lines up a line that includes you and Artax.
Oh, no.
I knew this man had no honor.
And he swings
Oh my
his blade.
gosh.
No honor, Conrad. Oh fuck!
And he
Oh,
he
no.
delivers a crit and additional damage from his power cleave.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't crits make all double damage dice doubled?
You're
Okay.
asking the wrong guy.
So that's a total of 22 plus 9 plus. I will say this. He's only trying to knock Artax away from you. He's not trying to kill him. So Artax will be wounded, but not killed by this. You, on the other
Thank
hand,
goodness.
you're not sure if he's trying to kill you or not.
Okay.
But he knows that he's fighting for his life,
Okay.
and you might not
So that-
survive that process.
That's fine.
But yeah, so Artax makes.
Man, I really wish that I could use this I don't die here to force somebody else to reroll.
So Artax does pass the save, but winds up stammering
Thank
backwards,
goodness.
and you slide out of the saddle as Artax goes into like a pointed pose, and you're down on the ground.
Perfect.
And,
That's what I wanted to happen, anyways. That's exactly what I wanted, anyways. So that's good.
Make me your strength save to see how you land. And you've just been dehorsed. That's a disadvantage, I'd say.
Okay. Ability check, saving throw, or ability check.
Saving throw, strength,
Saving throw.
disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
You're knocked prone, but
Oh.
Conrad kicks his own horse. He leaps from his steed, and he says, Svaraj, you'll have your revenge. Cover me. And she says, like hell I will, you spoiled brat. I signed on to finish this. And he sighs, and he looks down at Yannick. And he gives him an attack at advantage because Yannick's on the ground. And he's still got one attack left. And a 19 hits your AC on the money, I
Hits.
believe.
Yep. Yes, it
Oh.
does.
I'm gonna use my cutting words. It's recharge. I'm
yes!
gonna roll a d8 and be like, "You spoke of honor. Where's your honor now?"
Oh, the chest is loosening up a little bit there, man.
Yeah, and
Reduced
as-
by
That's
2?
enough, baby. That's enough.
Okay.
And he shakes. You see his hand shake as he rams his blade deep into the dirt. And he's done it deliberately. As he looks at you, Yannick, and he just says, "Stand up. We'll die on our feet. If nothing else, we'll die on our feet." And he just stands there, and blade at the ready. And
So, question.
yeah,
Does that count as a missed melee attack?
yes, it does.
Because I would be, as soon as that thing, I kind of roll to the side, and even if he meant to, like, I would still be trying to move out of the way, and I would knock that blade aside and try to swing up straight at him using my rip post.
Yeah, let's see. That's a clean fucking hit. Let's see that damage. Yeah.
Ooh.
Alright, yeah. He's not. He's barely still standing. Charles looks over and starts to yell at the men. Get him out of here! And Conrad says, "Leave me!" And Charlotte is desperately trying to do something about the situation because he's not going to be the guy who got the royal brat, killed or captured. But he might in fact be the guy who did that because Conrad's almost down. Basil, amidst all this, you slide into the fray. Iki's been forced back by this enemy Ritter. This warhorse is now running free and clear. Leeway and Charlotte are the last two mounted combatants in the main fight. And you see Yannick's on his back, two people trying to give him the works. One of them he just absolutely served and is almost down. But this woman, you've seen a barbarian's berserker rage. Basil, you know she has just begun to fight. This is not good. She is not swinging the flat end of that axe. She is not going to stop when your friend hits 0 HP. Alright, I see a radius.
I am going to. It is the only way, I believe, and hopefully it works. It won't even do anything, actually. That won't guarantee anything, so I'm going to do this instead. Zephyr Strike.
Oh snap! Let's go.
That's going to be covering the distance for me.
So remind me what your Zephyr Strike looks like. You dance through the air?
So I like to imagine it's a one-handed thing. He kind of gets like real low and moves fast. And you know, kind of like how when jockeys like ride horses and stuff, they create a jet stream behind them. Like kind of a jet stream comes behind the sickle, and it just kind of sounds like a whistling, maybe even like a train whistle, well, not really like a train whistle,
whistle
like but
comes
like a
out
high,
and
but it's high pitched.
You're cutting the air with your speed, and then you just sling in. Yeah, all right. So who are you gunning for, Conrad? Or is there,
Yeah, I'm going for Conrad.
All right.
Wait, no, wait, never mind.
Yeah.
No, not him. What's her name?
Yes, Mirage.
Yeah, her. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Fuck her. You slide in, Basil, and Yin, you see your friend Basil dart in as if though an arrow, like the air warp behind him, a whistle growing in your ear, ringing. You think, did I take a big hit to the head? No, it's Basil's sight. All right, Basil, what sight's she getting first?
She's only getting the one. It's gonna be the blue one. That's appropriate.
A brilliant blue sight cuts through air and strikes Svarage's side. Or does it? He says it. Not that breaks AC.
Ooh.
And
Yes.
I'm going to push her back behind that horse with the bug's movement, moving her horizontally 15 feet. But right up by the horse's ass and foot area. Just right there. Yeah.
Kick her back, Artax.
Yeah, give me
Yes.
damage on it.
Oh wait, my bad. There we go.
Okay, so
Nice.
the 4 is cold damage. She doesn't have any special resistance to that. The other stuff, she does have resistance to.
Force damage, 1d8 force damage. I almost forgot.
Yeah, and she does not have resistance to that. As Zephyr's strike just punches through. You cut the air perfectly, and she just... Artax whinnies in pain and shoots a hoof out behind at her.
Oh,
And
Artax.
barely avoids knocking
He
it to the
just
side
got
of
hit
her
with
head.
like 37 damage. It's okay. Nice try, Artax.
She toggles her head, spits, and slaps him on the ass. Artax takes the hit and gets out of here.
How dare you?
And she's like, "I'll fuck your butt. I'll slap your bunny lass's ass after this, and she'll thank me for it." While we're watching your corpse depose, strung up from your fucking bedroom window, and she's just like foamy at the mouth, eyes wide, pupils dilated. She's been hit heavy by a scythe that's like cut her side, and she doesn't even really seem to care. Like her, there's blood everywhere, but she's just going. Basil, that's your turn.
I think so.
Okay. Iki says, "You will forgive me for ending our duel prematurely. However, it should seem that my charge has needed me, and I would be a poor bodyguard if I was not there for him." And he slices and dices around with his katana. It's really a ruse. His true hit, a potent slash from Wakazashi before he stabs to their side,
Nice.
kills them, and re-enters the field as he yells, "My leash!" And Iki is on the way, but he's had to deal with that little dishonorable interloper. So Lee Wei, it's your turn.
All right. So I'm gonna look at Charles Lot and say, "You would dare ask your leader to withdraw, or in fact, have those around him withdraw when he seeks, well, redemption. You're not fit to be on this battlefield." And I'm gonna cast Thunderwave upcast to 2nd level. So I'm gonna need him to do a Constitution
I
saving
believe
throw.
his horse will also be needing to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yes,
They're
let's
both getting
go.
tossed. Yeah, a great wave of air juts out and cuts out. He and his horse are both toppled prone and take some damage.
Great. They're gonna take
Yeah.
14 points
Yeah.
of thunder damage.
Carlos Lot looks fucked up from that. His blood coming out from under his armor. His war horse is alive, but barely.
Great. And then with that, I'll just kind of look down on him for a second before I start to ride up. How far can I get? Would I be able to get in front?
Red Hill
of-
can easily get there. Yes, Red Hill
Okay.
is like 60 feet of movement, and she's a bat out
Yeah.
of hell.
Yeah, I want to be between Sverige and Yannick.
Yeah, you'll break op range on Conrad, but you honestly don't think he's gonna go for it.
Sounds good.
He rides by, and Conrad just flourishes his blade, hacking at the air, and eyeing up Yannick. Oh, we got. Oh, right. Yannick fucked him up with a riposte. I'm done. Okay. So yeah, you're here. Viraj is foaming at the mouth. Yannick. It's Conrad. He's waiting for you to stand, or he was. You just beat the shit out of him from the dirt, and now he's rearing up to get you. And now is the hour, my friend. What do
So
you do?
with that slash that I took up onto his legs, I kind of roll up and get back to my feet, and I stand. You know, I'm messed up. My armor's dented from where I fell. There's blood coming off, from different points where he cleaved completely through my breastplate and just opened me up. I'm actually pretty messed up. The worst I've been since ever, pretty much. And I'm breathing hard, and I'm looking at him with both hands on Bull's Kiss, and I just shake my head, and I'm like, we could have been brothers. We could have been friends. You still follow this fool's errand. So be it. And I bring my sword around, and with the first attack that I'm going to do, I'm just going to go regular, but I'm actually going for the flat. I'm not going to kill him.
Yep.
And while I'm doing that, as a bonus action, I'll be using Second Wind, which gives me back some temporary points. I'll do that after the attack roll, because that usually takes a second.
Yeah, so you give your swing, and you catch him with the flat of your blade. Give me that damage.
This is for the health back, 1d10 plus 5 for my level. So that's... Oops, sorry. Flash roll 1d10 plus 5. And damage on the attack.
Doing 8 to heal.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
he sees the flat coming. Doesn't die. Just says that in Foundry. You smack him and he hits the dirt. He's not moving. But at this point,
As he hits the ground, right? So as he hits the ground, I look at him and I kind of see if he's still breathing, and I go, "That is honor." And I still have my second attack. Am I able to get in here and get some?
Yeah, you're able to get in here and fucking get some. You're Yannick
So-
fucking Emerald. And also, why is my host computer on?
Hell yeah.
not- Things have happened, people watching this live stream, I assure you. Allow us to cut quickly to Zoom cam footage only as I try and share that with you. Okay, yeah, here we are. So you want to run around and give her a piece of your mind.
Yep, I want to go give her the old. Can I make it far enough to give her the old leeway Yannick special?
Absolutely. You can
Yes!
15, 20. I will. This is a relative space in the middle of the battlefield. For
Gotcha.
our purposes, I will drag it out here just so you don't have to be stood in the cloud.
Oh, thanks.
Charles Law is like way down here at the edge. So Yannick, yeah, you're here, and you got the flank. Red Hill taking up this space. You're back here.
So I'm sliding basically right around the back of Li Wei, knowing that our normal thing, and realizing that if I position myself behind, not only will they be able to get advantage, but I will too. And I'm like, as I'm bringing that sword up to take a whack at the back of her, I'm just like, this field is full of fools today. You did not need to die either. Shua.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, you strike down her back, snapping through hide and leather and bonded chain. Give me that damage. 12 damage, except it's slashing, so more like 6. Like, you had a big blow that should be like oofing, but she kind of like barely even acknowledges it. She is bloody at this point, though. Like, a person only has so many liters of blood in them to go, and she's losing. She's only got so much before the heart stops pumping. So, that your turn?
That is my turn. I've used my Bonus action. I still have a reaction now that it's my turn. Okay, yep, I'm good. Carry on, my wayward son.
All right. So, Li Wei.
Yes.
She uses a bonus action to do a pretty quick weapon toggle here. Whips out a spear and tries to give you a little poke with it.
All right.
And she tries to use Ram It Home on you.
Ooh.
Is
That's
that it?
gonna hit.
All
That's
right.
gonna hit.
So, make a con save.
Okay.
Non-versatile, she's one-handed this. You take 9 damage. and
17.
it's deflected off your armor. The spear breaks and falls to the side. She turns with a battle axe and uses her last 2 attacks to attack Yannick, saying, "Don't interfere." And then she turns to Yannick and she just tries to axe him a question.
And I have a question to ask her back,
Yes.
because when that first one slides by my guard, right, I kind of deflect it off and I bring that back straight across her gut, trying to spill her gut.
Yes.
I want
Hell yeah.
I want scored guts on the ground is what I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
So will that be an advantage?
Yes, you're flanking.
Okay. Yay, flanking. I love flanking.
Yeah.
Flanking is the friendship you need. Alright, you deliver, what to say? You deliver damage.
And damage, so this will be my last die, so that is
Woo!
20.
Ooh.
Alright. Yeah, you deal 20 damage to her. Except you actually deal her 10 damage. So she's raging, but she just can't land that hit on you. That is her turn. Charles Lot stands up. His horse stands up. He calls out to one of the ritters, and they this ritter scoops him up on the back of his warhorse, and he says, "Ride!" And rides over here, hops off, and it looks like Charles Lot is trying to get this ritter to get Conrad Gold up. And Charles Lot hops out here and raises an attack to guard his the withdrawal of their liege.
So I have a question as all of this is happening, right? So the rest of the battle was still going on, and the Emerald Fist was crashing into this.
Yeah. So basically, your units are surrounding them, crushing them in. They're about to break morale, and their leader just went down. So, like, on the beginning of the next round of the battle is this unit's morale breaks. They are surrounded. They don't have a great chance to get out, but one lone heavy rider on a warhorse might be able to just break line and sprint, and that's what he's hoping. That's what at this point, that's the best Charles Lot is probably hoping for. Maybe we get him out alive and lose the army.
So I would be yelling, to rally my troops, "Do not let them escape, or this will just happen again!" And I look at Li Wei and I'm like, "Do not let him get out of here."
All right.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna say, yeah.
Actually, I should have been looking at Basil, because Basil is the master of popping up out of nowhere and just murking fools like it's cool.
That's true.
We need someone hunted.
Yeah. So
By good Basil, we do need somebody hunted.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Basil, you see Conrad Gold unconscious on the ground. Charles Lot the Rondell trying to get him out on this ritter. It looks like at the end of this turn, your forces are going to collapse in. People have already crying out that the Fruit Gang battle is decided because Yannick beats what's his face. But people are shouting, "The score is still on the field!" But that doesn't matter much because they're outnumbered badly and getting crushed. So Basil, what do you want to do?
I want to double check my character sheet right quick to make sure I have the spell slot, requisite amount of spell slots to do this. To do another friggin' whatchamacallit. I mean, is he really that far?
Who?
I mean, this feller right over here.
That's 15 feet.
Okay, yeah, then never mind. Oh my god. I'll just pounce.
Yes.
All right, so he's ready to attack the first person that comes within 5 feet. So you just run up for him.
I do believe. That I might just have to take one on the chin.
All right.
Or risk one on the chin. But,
So, show me where you move.
yeah, I'm gonna move.
You got it, the little meat.
Well,
head.
hold on. Actually, what if I cast Bark Skin and then just attack with my. Oh, that is a bonus action, actually. No, that's not. Never mind.
All right, so you run it. You run up.
I'm just gonna attack twice instead and attempt to get hit.
He
Might get
swings
hit.
his blade at you. He fails to hit.
Hell, shit.
Yeah. So give me your
Nice.
attack.
I feel like Fassel definitely just like slides under like the Matrix. Bump, bump, bump.
Is he Naruto running with both of the scythes out? Like you're just
Yeah.
running down like this?
No, I mean, I was very tempted. It's very tempting, but I just love the idea of him like T2 Terminator sprinting, just like.
Mm.
All right, give me that attack. Give me that attack. Yeah.
It's the one.
Well, it's a 2, but
It's the offhand,
the
You got
offhand,
jokes for days.
the offhand strikes your foe. Give me that damage.
and then the extra attack. Because I'm level 5 now. I'm a big boy. Hit 2 times. I was forgetting that the other turns too. So
All right, so the offhand and the extra both hit. We'll just subtract the purple's stack bonus because I don't think you have dual wielding.
and I'm gonna apply the Fury of the Small, and I'm also gonna hit them with the movement thing and move them 15 feet horizontally.
he underestimates you because he's like, "Oh, you're short," and you just crush through his armor.
Yes.
And let's see that damage.
This one and that one.
Okay, so
Small is...
you're going for the kill.
We don't need this guy, do we?
No,
Then yeah.
you sight into his chest and then push him back 15 feet. He dies going flying. These guys are completely decapitated. There's chaos and disarray. Iki is here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Comes up, flanking, just,
Let's go.
says, apologies for my brief delay, and just kind of, the blades are flying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, as it turns out, he does a lot of hitting. Yep. So a double 9, which gets blunted down to the 4 each time for 8. And it's going for the odd stab into her tendons. Li Wei, it's your turn.
All right. I'm gonna take an attack of opportunity here. I'm gonna move over. My king demands it, and I'm gonna ride over to this heavy ritter to try to stop him from getting hold of Conrad.
Are you gonna have Red Hilt disengage?
Oh, can I do that?
Yeah, your horse
Oh
can
my
disengage
gosh.
for you. And Red Hilt's really
Okay.
well trained, so she will.
Let's go. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have Red Hill do that then.
All right, ride you up here, and then you wanna say hello to this ritter here.
Absolutely. In fact, does it seem like he's the only ritter that is capable of retrieving Conrad?
At the moment, everybody else, like the Emerald Fist, has beaten down almost all of them. The enemy is surrendered or routed or both at this juncture. They're about to break.
Great. Then I'm gonna use my last level 3 spell slot to cast Fear, essentially focusing it all on this guy in this direction to get him to run. So I'll need a Wisdom saving throw.
You will.
And Leeway was just granted a dangerous to go alone.
Oh no!
Let's
Well,
go.
it's actually dangerous to go alone. Take this. You cast fear. He's not afraid enough. But the thing is, you've seen all this destruction before him. His allies haven't arrived. Maybe he's second guessing something. He looks Leeway in the eye, and he gets a little spooked. And he doesn't know if he's afraid or not, as I actually make that wisdom save a disadvantage for him. So he gets.
Oh, sick!
Let's
That
go.
is a
So he
fail!
actually
Yeah!
fails, and he starts to ride away. And I'm assuming you let him run off and get captured?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Yannick. Yannick, don't panic. Basil's on the way. Leeway is rising through the ranks that he is here to stay. What do you want to do?
So I would, seeing my beloved bodyguard Iki come up to take Leeway's place for the tag team, I would kind of do a 5-foot step, and then we're going to town.
Yeah.
Since it doesn't seem that this woman will listen to anything, I would have been willing to spare her and take her captive, but
Yeah.
Honestly,
Well,
leave the
at the moment,
profanity alone.
at the moment, she's like she don't think she's very like talk toable at the moment. Whatever it was that put her in this blood rage, it's over the counter.
so the first one,
Yeah, give me that damage.
damage,
Yep.
and the second,
So it's 5 slashing. Another hit.
the damage.
He said she was really on that Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, and she's still up. Hurt badly, but up.
And that's pretty much all. I have
Yeah.
exhausted all of my superiority dice. I am now ready to receive.
She screams
may.
out and gives a reckless attack to gain advantage on this first swing.
That'll hit.
Yep.
Yep.
Her first hit delivers 8 plus 4 for 12 damage. And then she makes her next 2 attacks.
Oh.
Missing a
Second one
hit.
hits.
And do you want to riposte on her miss, or you don't have it ready?
I don't have any superiority dice left.
Right. And so she delivers as 11. She delivers a further 11. So that is 23
Takes me down to 8. Yep.
overall. All right.
Takes me down to 8.
You're almost down. But here's the thing. The battle is unwinding. Not everyone yet knows that this guy is down, but the front ridders have folded. The peasant levies have taken some damage inherent in the clash against the heavy ridders. And there are bodies, but you've won. You guys have crushed this. The Evil Fist have moved into this territory, and now Yannick, Leeway, and Fazler are all in the same zone.
Yes.
So you guys, between yourselves and VO, you have a unified ability to command and contact your allies. Thank you, Judge Wolf, for the subscription. Turns out you might have done that before as well. So here's what's up. The spearmen fight the Yama Jaegers. It is head on. The match type pair up goes to the Yama Jaeger. It's enough to break the spearmen on the bridge. The Yama Jaeger just take a 1 inherent from the spearmen, but that does leave them up at 1 gaming. These guys break, but enemy swordsmen rush into the gap. These crossbowmen rearm. These crossbowmen do fire on Kurai's guys. And manage to score a 50-50 odds hit for 2 into these Butai Rithers, and they're now done. These guys reload, but they're not ready to shoot. And this clash between Von Ordel's guys and these swordsmen, it's a front-on. Tight pair-up goes to the spearmen. These flatheads hit nothing. And Ike cries out to his men, "Stand fast!" And they hold at one. All the while, replying with their inherent and their height advantage for 2 further morale damage on the foe.
Yes.
These heavy ritters are caught in a shock scenario. They do, however, manage to break this unit of Veil Blades as they go down. And they are incapable of withdrawing across the bridge at this time. They run out into the countryside. Your Veil Blades, your broken units falling back behind your lines. And these Flatheads and these Golden Thorns going at it. It's a frontal matchup. There's a 2 inherent. It's same type. -1 over here. -2 over here. And, the peasants, for their part, advance slowly and haphazardly. They don't have that much move, so they can't initiate the clash this turn. But they are hardened by how brutally you've just won that battle. And Aisi Yupi, in fact, gives out a cry of battle. And these peasant levies up here that they join actually do commence the clash. They take a pretty bad inherent match, but they're in there fighting. Several of your units now, all of the ones back here, Yannick, are exhausted because they have just finished their clashes. So you got some tired boys. And that's going to be even more damage they're suffering. Your Yama-Jaeger closing in on exhausted. The enemy is decapitated and sure to collapse, but you could take more losses before that's over, Yannick. Vio has emerged from the shrine and says, "My liege," and you get the feeling you have to finish up this fight fast so you can go direct your turn of this battle. Otherwise, you're just going to do whatever comes natural to him. But
so I'm about to die, right? I hear Vio. I'm like, Vio, consolidate the forces and have them pull back to defensible positions now.
All right, and he sends up the smoke signal, and you see that that's happening. But to the south, you see Kurai riding at the head of some Emerald Fists into poor terrain because some Raider cavalry have finally made it across, and he has decided he's not going to let them live.
The dangers of small unit leadership. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. They pull him back.
We reward initiative, but
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. So Ike gives the order, "Withdraw! You're breaking off!" And he attempts to use the command to break off. Unfortunately, the enemy swords are in amongst your spearmen. It's a bad matchup, and they'd have to run backwards downhill. So Ike has failed to withdraw his unit, and they are stuck in that battle. There's an evolving clash on the board, and when the Golden Thorns are done, they'll all be held up here. Yeah, so battle for your life. Basil, it's your turn. You've done up everybody here of relevance. This guy is out cold. We'll put the sleeping one on him. And this person's the last foe on the field. What do you want to do? Greg?
Sorry, I was still looking at the big side, the big map, the green map side. Who'd you say is still the last person up? This chick over here, she's still. I mean, they've got that handled. Is there anything I'm sorry, I don't really. I mean, you might have said, but I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly. Is there anything my character can do to assist in that stuff that happened over there?
So
Or assist in the
you
next
can-
round?
You can run out there and you can try and cause issues with an enemy commander if you want. If you want to break off from this, it'll take you a moment to get over there because these are 100-foot squares and you're not presently mounted.
So let me check the range on Web, but I'm pretty sure Web is that far.
Basil, look right next to you.
Right next to me, this guy.
Oh, this thing right there.
I mean, he's not going anywhere, right?
Yeah, but use it.
The warhorse.
Well, yeah.
You need to get somewhere fast.
You want to hop on a warhorse,
Just,
Basil?
no one tell Cha Cha.
Give me the animal handling. Cheat on your mount. My gods.
I'm just saying, if
Prudent
you need
upon
to
us.
get somewhere fast, Basil, there is a warhorse just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
So-
the horse is agreeable, and you can ride swiftly if you want to get close to the line.
I'm gonna use my Swarm Keeper spell, Web, to gunk up some of the troops that are preventing retreat, so that our guys can able to extricate themselves. I'm gonna hit the back lines, so the people who expect to have reinforcements behind them, they'll just be one layer.
All right, and what kind of a save is that?
I believe it's dexterity.
All right.
And then it's strength to break out.
Okay. Overwhelmingly, they are stuck, and this gives Ike one more attempt at advantage. When he says, "They have skipped leg day. That just takes the advantage." Unfortunately, the analogy is a little hard
Oh
to get through.
no!
Basil, you do help slow the enemy's advance, but it's not enough to get a whole unit out. Meanwhile,
I'll yell, "Light it up!"
EKBO Jimbo.
to the archers.
Oh yeah. They're gonna take their shots. But EKBO Jimbo, it's your turn. Or it's I play
Yeah.
Jimbo. Iki goes for a deep stab.
Let's go.
Strikes a
Yes!
vital organ. And she kind of twitches her eye up, and she's reaching out, and for the second time, a woman reaches up and tries to strangle you in her dying moments. As Iki, with a katana through her gut, says, "And a safe passage to what lies beyond." Before his Wakizashi simply chops her fucking head off, and there is now a stump looking at you as blood sprays all over you messily. He twists the blade to pitch her into the dirt, and he wipes his weapons off her and says, "My liege, the battle is won. This fight is won, but the battle is not yet." And,
So I would look at Iki and I'm like, keep that as a trophy. You've earned your honor today. And I would run and basically try to jump up behind Leeway on the Red Hilt and go. We need to be in the
Yes.
front.
All right.
So the boys ride to the front.
Yeah.
The fight is over, but we'll see how many of the men survive this engagement, and it's heart pounding as you see the Golden Thorns stand loyal, and you know what else stands loyal? A quick 5-minute break. So,
Oh yeah, it's cheesecake time.
Oh,
Snap.
well, you can't leave with a message like that. I want cheesecake time.
no, it's fine. I mean,
Well,
listen,
you got a fax
Basil
machine?
Basil learned how to hunt cheesecake. Okay.
That's true. Now I'm jealous. All right, 5 minutes. I'll be back.
All right.
Yes, streamers. Just indeed. Yeah. Just a stump by Kaka, indeed. Just a stump. All right. All right. I apologize for a slightly longer than 5-minute break, but hello, welcome to Rain of Roses. Hello, friends.
Yeah.
So at this juncture, here's how this is gonna go. You're gonna get one more move.
Can you put my token back onto the map? I can't see. I can't see the battle map.
I have a little.
I know. I have the. It's apparently it doesn't. Let me refresh before you do anything. Let me refresh. Maybe because
I'll move a new Yannick in. But yeah.
There's gonna be too many Yannicks.
Too many Yannies, not enough laurels.
Too many cooks.
I get to be smart.
When Yannick hops onto the horse, is there any chance I could cast a second level Cure Wounds on him before we ride off?
You give him a good old bro slap and you pump some heal.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. I can see. See.
And by the way, as you're like trying to get out, you find your spur. The spurs on Red Hill are broken by virtue of how hard she rides. When at just that moment, little Billy Applequack McGee, the demon friendly, emerges and says, "I can fix that for you," and emerges with a fresh stirrup that they affix right under Leeway's foot and say, "Keep going, you're great, Emerald Roses." And,
okay, I see.
So Billy Applequack McGee.
I was trying to figure. Like, what the hell is happening? I'm so confused right now.
All right, so you guys are going for the front. So here's the situation. The ongoing clashes are going to go, right? When at the bottom of this go around, right? However, for the moment, your more pressing concern is how you're going to maneuver everyone else and who you want the archers to shoot at. Which, I mean, these guys have already been told to light these guys up, and they probably will. Unless you give them something else.
Okay,
and these peasant levies, they charged in. They're doing stuff.
Okay.
They're like, I'll put them here.
All right. So, I know the Emerald Fists are tired, right? And I know that they're hurting, but they're supposed to now be the elite of the elite of the elite, the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors, right? Yeah. So from the back, from behind Leeway, I have one arm around him, and then the other arm has the sword up, and I am bloodied and cleaved, and my armor is hanging off of me, right? Like I am obviously tired. I am obviously in ruin. I would look back to them like, men, gather! You are to be the best! Let us prove it this day! And then it's like, come on, guys, we gotta go. And so I'm bringing my dog got upset again. I'm sorry.
Oh no!
Come here. Come on. It's okay. We're fine. Okay. So
and the situation is before you on the street. Veil Blades and Peasant Levies are in here. The Levies and the Flathead are clashing. They can't easily be drawn off. You could tell the Veil Blades to move, but you can't ram the Emerald Fist straight into these guys. Right. You come out here and strike them at the side if you'd like.
That's so. Before we do that, right?
Yeah.
I would be. So we have an issue here, right? The first is that. All right. Can I think for just one second? I mean, I'm not like take an hour or anything. I need to look at this really quick.
Everyone ponder. Everyone feel free to.
Okay. So I have peasant levies here. So I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing we would do is we would have the Flathead Eshiguri are engaged with the Golden Thorns, correct? These ones right here. Okay. So Bobrin kind of moseyed off here with his unit as it routed, right?
Yeah, so
Is
he's
he
got-
still around?
Yeah, so Balbrin, when he gets his guys clear to like the lie down and get medic's house, he cycles into the back of the flatheads.
Okay, so I would have these. My veterans, right? These are my veterans from the previous war. I would, as I'm getting all my men kind of rallied up, I would have them charge, engage into here
All
from
right,
the side.
So they're
on the
gonna have
Golden
to. They're gonna have to dash to make it. Meaning they'll be
Yep.
they'll be tired when they get there, but you'll
That's
have
fine.
them do it.
Yep. We are at an impasse here. The next thing, so when they engage from the side, how far can archers reach?
Your archer's range, and they gain +1 for being at elevation, but their default on the Heartwood Piercers is a range of 4.
Oh, that's right. It's down in the lower right hand or lower left hand. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
1, 2,
So
3.
let's
So
see.
your Heartwood Piercers could fire into
One.
these Golden Thorns. These Heartwood
Okay.
Piercers could fire into them or these guys.
So the Heartwood Piercers up here would be firing into the Golden Thorns before they got further engaged.
The arrows pelt them.
These Heartwood Piercers would be volleying into the swordsman here.
Mhm.
Then I would have these peasant levies move forward and attack on the flank of these swordsmen to try and free up.
Now, bear in mind, these are not your veterans. These are regular levies.
Yes, those are coming from with the Yamajager. They came with him.
Yeah, they. After an engagement with no ally behind them, they're gonna run. But they're
That's
gonna
fine. I need them to just get into
run
there.
here and get in
Yep.
there and fuck them up. Yeah, they'll do
Yep.
it.
Okay. So at that point in time, with all of those things done, I would be on the I would see, hey, take us this way, right? We would
Yes.
come around and flank on the Golden Thorns. I know it's going to be bad for us because those are block, but
Yep.
considering that I have 2 blocks engaged with 3 blocks engaged with them coming from the north, I think we have a pretty good chance of getting them to rout.
All right. So yeah,
If we start pushing the peasant levies in and the flatheads in for the
All right.
engagement.
So here's how this goes down, right? The Golden Thorns, technically speaking, don't have a limit to the number of people they fuck up as they go down, but they're doomed, right? So they go down swinging. You have left them an opening, though, so they don't stay past the point of routing. They will retreat to the east and just, like, run and break off along the road. But they have an inherent of 2. And they have a type up on you.
So
You're at 1 with the Butai Ritters. These peasant levies, they ain't too happy. These peasant levies, they ain't too happy either. They're wavering. ICUP's like, I don't know, guys. Maybe we should turn back. These peasant levies come up on these guys. They take some hits, but it's all they need, and they get a flank. These swordsmen, as they manage to rout your flatheads on the hill, but they get routed in turn.
So as that Golden Thorn unit collapses, right? So I would spur leeway up to move to the top of this hill where we
Right.
could both be seen, just covered in blood, and like the units to the north are routing. I would bellow out across the fields, like, "Your lord is down, and he is my prisoner. Lay your arms down, and you will live this day. Continue to fight, and all of you will be put into the ground."
Give me an intimidate advantage.
Yes.
Tell them what's up.
Oh snap!
Yeah, so
Let's
these guys on the
go.
bridge. So they trade blows with the Yamajaegers, right? Yamajaegers, they're pretty good. They have 1 inherent damage though, and it's straight on with one of their type. Which is actually an extra 1. And the Yamajaegers, they are routing. So you, technically speaking, as this happens, right? You've lost the bridge, but you've won the war. Yamajaegers melt back into the woods, and the enemy across the way, the crossbowmen do pump a final shot at these flatheads, but Balbrin says, "Incoming! Into the house! Into the houses!" and the enemy tries to shoot into some pretty high cover. Yeah, they're not fucking hidden. They're dry, and these crossbowmen, they look like they're about to open fire on you and break your unit, right? And you see an enemy commander on the far side, a woman with black gloves, and she holds up a fist, and then she does this. And they look at her in disbelief, but they obey. And all of a sudden, the people left on the south side are pulling back, and the people who have routed on your side are throwing down their weapons. However, there's one last conflict arena as Kurai crashes into the enemy raider cavalry. Front on front, they have no inherent. It is same type, which I believe is still a -1 rattle. But Kurai just crushes them. The raiders are like they feed the fish. They are driven back into the broken wood and the muck and the mire and the ants. And Kurai shouts, "You heard him! Drop your weapons or you're all fucking dead!" And a handful of raiders are taken prisoner at that engagement.
Sick.
Yeah. With that, I would note your enemy has in good array and withdrawing Yannick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units across 3 distinct companies. Technically speaking, the crossbowmen will probably not even be noticeably damaged by this engagement. The others are going to be fucked up and have to be reconstituted to some degree, or come in heavily depleted to any future engagement, which will of course sap your enemy's resources. This is a great victory. Are you hungry? Are you hungry for more? Are you chasing them, or are you letting them go if they're across the bridge? This is all technically your land. They're still trespassing, but they're running.
At this juncture, all of my troops are damaged or winded. You know, normally the route is whenever the most death happens, but I can't risk my people.
Yeah. So you hold back. You're not yet glory hungry. Honor stands behind it, and etc. etc.
True.
The enemy withdraw, and you've taken many prisoners this day, including the Golden Boy. The dust settles as people see to the wounded. Many people are gravely wounded across the field. And Li Wei, you see the dead and the dying call out for one last drink of alcohol or water, and some shuffle off this mortal coil as you see them cough with their entrails hanging out of their body. And you know you have the means to save perhaps 1 or 2, but not all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've just magically healed up your boy's side. What are you doing, Li Wei?
I'll do my best. I mean, whoever's closest. I have in total 5 spell slots left of Cure Wounds.
And would you throw them all out?
Yeah, I'd throw them all out there.
All right, everyone screams, "Healer, healer!" as Yannick, as Li Wei, you're coming up to people. And the 5th guy gets his patched up, and there's this person with an arrow like deep in their gut, and they say, "Me next, me next," and they're looking at you with this sort of demented smile on their face, and their eyes are wide. And
yeah, here you go.
And it's the 6th. You've spent your 5 slots. What do you do?
I'm sorry. I can't. I don't.
No,
I'm
I
not
can't
strong
die.
enough.
I have a.
I can try to roll medicine.
Yeah, you can try and roll medicine. Give me a medicine roll, Basil.
So while Li Wei is going about healing people, I would have wanted to get. Oh, Basil.
Oh, sorry, this is a bit beyond what I know how to patch up.
Basil, it's a deep gut wound. If it's possible to patch this up, which you're not sure, you definitely can't do it. This is magic territory. When you see men get hurt like this, it's magic or dead normally. But yeah,
so I would go up to Fazl and I'd be like, Fazl. So I'm pretty fucked up, right? But it's like, Fazl, what can I do to help? Is there anything? Do you know of any herbs that we could collect? You're a man of the forest. I'm actually starting to look a little panicky with the amount of people that I've lost. Like, this death all around me is getting to me a little bit, and it's like, what can I do to help?
Well, the first thing is keep it together for the men. I think
What would there be herbs around here?
So
Actually,
it's a very deep and wooded countryside, and that does mean you'll have more wild herb. Give me survival, Fazil, or medicine at your preference to think about your available options here.
So that one that Fazil couldn't fix, right? When
Lee
Fazil
Weapons,
says that, I kind of, it gets into my head. It's like, he's right. Like, you need to set the example. I kneel down next to that man that I know is going to die, and I take his hand into mine, and I say, I'm like, I'm sorry that my friends can't help you, but you fought well, and your family will be taken care of.
He says, to think I'd finally meet the man I'm fight for when I... And there's just sort of a leaking sound from his lungs as the last of it sort of comes out, and you see there's a deep breach in his chest, and the light goes out as he expires on the hill.
And so that's when I would stand up and I would say, start getting all the wounded together. We need to get this taken care of as best as we can. Li Wei, do you have anything else that you can do? Fazil, anything else that you can do?
I can try.
Yeah.
it's probably likely that all the villagers took their supplies and stuff with them in their evacuation, but maybe we could see what's left behind. A lot of these people fighting here probably live here, right?
Yes, the veterans here were, and so I would start delegating things out, right? And I would be delegating out to Bobrin, as well as Kurai, and if Icon's not hurt, to begin to search for any type of medicines. Talk to the locals here, and we would be tending to the captives' wounds as well. Our people first, then the captives, but the captives would be taken care of.
Yeah, so you heal everyone in that order, and it is a brutal display. So 4 of your units broke, 3 from the Heart Spanner, 1 a Yama Jaeger detachment brought directly by the Boyar, who has some bandages and other medical supplies he's brought, although it's not extensive. He doesn't have a full field hospital. He opens it up to the dispersal of the army, and it helps save a lot of lives. Overall, your casualty rate isn't as bad as it should be. There are some abortive attempts to seek out red roots to help dissipate the blood loss, but ultimately, it's mostly too little too late, and the people who get it may well have pulled through anyway, and those who needed it in the moment expire on the field. It is a brutal day, and there are many corpses left to fill. The Shrine Maiden of the village returns. She was not far from the battle. She was praying in the hills as it happened, and she does what she can. She, too, she has little in the way of healing magics, but she can send the dead and give them rest. And so it is, the process has begun. And, the bloodshed is, for now, at an end. And the man who led this expedition is in your power, Yannick. He is unconscious, and when last you spoke while he was awake, unrepentant for what he has done. Or rather, maybe not unrepentant, but convinced he had no other option.
So I tell Fazil, or I tell Vio, no, I tell Fazil, I think this would be right up Fazil's alley. Fazil, when we return, there will be a push to develop field hospitals and some type of medicals that will go along with us whenever we enter into battle. I will not see those who possibly could have been saved with a little bit of bandage and a little bit of herb pass on when we could have saved them. As Master of the Hunt, this feels like it should be up your alley, your understanding of the Force. Apply it to whoever you feel might be
I can
best suited
certainly-
to handle it? Go. I'm sorry. Please.
I can certainly put the feelers out for a proper apothecary. I think this would be a great development. Yes.
And so that's when I say you three with me now. VL, come. And so I'm stomping my way into where Conrad's being held, and if he's asleep, I grab him by the front of his breastplate and whack.
Yeah, they have him penned up along the road to the shrine, and they've got all sorts of veil blades around him. Many people who just watched their comrades die under his charge. They're all kind of thumbing their blades, and they look to you, look at the prisoner, and Boyar Zidane Torslava comes to your side when he's done tending to the men, and Conrad wakes up and coughs a little blood, and he looks at you and says, "So I'm still alive."
You bloody well shouldn't be, but you... Why?
He says, "Simple, Yannick. There's been enough bloodshed between our families. When my mother was still alive, we had a plan, me and her. We were going to arrange for a duel to settle things. No one else had to get hurt. No battles. No villages. But after what happened to her," he shook his head. He shakes his head and he says, "My father is going to worm his way around this blood feud injunction, whether in life or death. And when that comes, there will be a huge war between our families, if not in this generation, then the next. If we could dislodge the Snake Coast out from under you, my father would be content and unable to spread further. We would bottle him up with southern concerns and let the blood feud end. There would have been no formal breach of the injunction, because we intended to while away at them, like we did the province to the south. Formally, there was no war. People died, but a lot less people died."
Nobody had to die, you fool. And so I'd give him a shake, and then I'd look at him and be like, who was the duel supposed to be between?
He laughs and says, "Us. But he'll never accept it now. I'm sure his only concern will be getting me back."
His only concern would have been you losing anyways, which you did.
That would have been fine. It would have ended things. He doesn't have a means to carry this on past that. But now...
Never will a gold banner raise across Emerald Land. You hear me?
He looks at you and he says, "Certainly not in your lifetime, Yannick Emerald. That I can believe."
Then I will have to stamp you out root and stem if need be.
And he says, "I would there were another way."
So I let him go.
And he does.
And I look at Leeway and I point a finger at him. Like, there's obviously like a lot of rage going on. I'm like, I need to speak to you after this. And I look over towards, I'm not towards Lava. There we go.
Yeah, towards Lava. And he's looking at him, he's looking at you, and he says, "Of course, we are in the Snake Coast, loyal to the man. There is no way that they could sow chaos in such a way with our loyal viceroy and me as Boyar."
My father's trust and my trust has always been well placed in you, Boyar Tolslava. You will always have I will always have your back.
And I will always be at your service.
These fools will never make it further north than the lands that they took below the Snake Coast.
The Snake Coast will never forget the day Yannick Emerald stood at Stone Snake Bridge and threw back the raiders.
So, I would that's when I'd walk out. Or actually, I would stop for a second. I'd look at Fazil and Leeway. Very, kind of looking between them, kind of little wide-eyed, and just kind of back and forth, and basically, without saying, pointing and kind of mimicking to them, if you have something to say to this person or to get information out of them, do it. I can't anymore, and that's when I would stomp out. And so I would basically leave them to question Conrad as they will, to find out anything that they can, and let them be at it without me and their interfering.
Yeah, so I think that the curtain slides to black there to say that. So Li Wei, are you going to try and interrogate Conrad and figure out what's at the bottom of this?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I will say at first he's reluctant. He's not going to tell you anything here, even if you go pretty hard. But Vio says some things take time. Thankfully, we have a great many accommodations home in 3 Hill, and they. Yeah, with that, you guys withdraw. You withdraw to 3 Hill, and you are once again in your in the council chamber. And Li Wei, Vio and you talked to him a few times. Vio is not torturing him yet, and he sort of like he continues to play off of him, and he's trying to dive a little deeper and saying things like, "So, your father, what's his plan? You're telling me you don't want it to happen. Maybe there's another way around this." And eventually, he lets... So, he doesn't let slip, but you're beginning to study him. Give me an insight, Li Wei.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, that's a 4.
So, Li Wei, you can't figure out any of his tells, but he does say this. He says, there are strings tied to strings and marionettes in each other's hands. We all dance before the eye. And give me a history check.
Okay.
Yeah.
11.
The eye. Well, the capital of the empire is called the Eye of Empire, the city of Auden. And Vio talks it over with you, and outside the room, he says, "Now, I'm new to Surface-Sider politics, but I'm not new to nesting dolls of manipulation.
Right.
It strikes me that the Emerald Vale is a resource-rich and significant region, and it would be a natural base of power for one seeking to expand one's influence. It's possible a historical enemy, or simply one whose opportunities don't align, would be funding the Golden Rose. Based on what I've seen, they were decimated in their last wars against the Emerald Rose. The Imperial Blood Feud Injunction mostly protected them against the Emerald Rose. And now they've returned to great power rapidly.
Right.
There are those who put this at the feet of Oughtred's acumen, but personally, I'm not sure he's the brightest of gold, if you take my shining meaning. I think the boy is intimating something he's not willing to betray. He's clearly conflicted. His sense of honor has been dashed and compromised. Something core to himself. He did it for his father. Did he do it for his father's sake because his father would not relent? Because his father had no choice himself. I'm not sure what to make of this, but I fear I know the answer lies afar, in Auden. I will continue to work it and report to you directly when we get any breaches. When we have something concrete, take it to Yannick.
Will do.
And
Vio.
Yes.
Would I be able to connect him with? I mean, I've made a few side connections. There is the one with the one eye, and also the other one who, I think it was Getich. I'm sorry, my pronunciation, but it's like those two. I'd like to connect him with them too, just to speed this up, because
one other underworld contact. Her name is Aiko, and she lives very close to your old town. She moves in certain circles that you don't move in, but it's possible you could reach out. Would you involve her in this?
I would personally go to see her as opposed to
You
having
personally
VO
go.
find her.
You have a conversation with Aiko, and she opens the door. She's wearing a beautiful kimono that depicts a woman riding her own castle turned into a boat ascending into the skies. It's a famous old
Sorry,
piece.
what?
Yeah, well, it's a famous piece of art and literature. It is the Her Lady in the Storm, or something to that effect. I can't remember the precise title myself. But to spare her people, she took her family's Tenshu Tower from her keep and fashioned it into a ship and sailed it out into a hurricane. And in doing so, the divine winds lifted the storm and her keep directly into the heavens. And it depicts her riding up into the heavens, greeted by the angels and the spirits for her sacrifice as she goes nobly and stoically to her death for her people. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful piece, and it's not a cheap kimono. High quality silk, very high quality crafting. She's doing well, and she's pimped the old house. There's lots of flower pots with herbs. New fresh paint on all the walls, fresh stuff inside. She says, "Good to meet you. I see we have the Prince of Three Hill here to join the Princess of Canal Street. What can I do for you today?"
Yes. Do you have time to speak in private?
Yes, of course. Come in. Is this more business?
Yes, I would say so.
She nods, she takes you inside, and she says, "So, talk to me about your business."
And I'd say as Leeway walks in, it's like I would say maybe even to onlookers, when he walks up to the door, he has a book, a pretty thick book. It's not titled or anything like that, but it's like before she answered the door, he would have been going through it, just looking to steal himself a little bit.
Yeah.
But upon being invited in, he closes it and he'll say, so, the Gold Rose. Do you know if they have any connections around here?
Around here, a connection to the Gold Rose would be pretty dangerous. They are the enemy of state. I hear there might have been a little dust up down south, even.
Yes.
Maybe you could tell me about that. There's even rumors that Conrad Gold has been taken prisoner. Is he to be ransomed? The Golds do have a lot of, well, silver.
Right. I'm not sure. I'm looking for information. As far as that dust up, I was there, and I don't want anything like that to happen again.
She says, "I understand. As you know, I have a few friends who you've declined to work with in the past, but I can always act as an intermediary.
Right.
Their network goes very far. I can shake the tree and see what falls out. You think they have local friends? Or maybe someone a little higher up the food chain?"
I'm concerned that it'd be someone higher up the food chain, especially as far as their prince is concerned.
She rubs her chin and she says, "I've heard he's more in it for the romantic stuff in terms of, flowers and honor and poetry. Less about the intrigue. But his father, very shrewd man, Ottred, I think he gets involved in, well, I think he has a finger in every pie."
I see. Well,
I'll
then,
look into
do you
it.
know about the pies?
I'll look into it. And Li Wei,
Yes.
while you're looking into it, while I'm looking into that, you should be looking into your future. You are, after all, brother to the Herzog now, and I don't see any little emerald tunes running around at your hips yet. You need to think to the future. What would your mother say?
Well,
Your mom is often asking if there are princesses at court.
this'll make Leeway laugh a little bit and say, "Aiko, when have I ever listened to Mother?"
Oh, yes. Well, I would say look at all the trouble it got you into, but she gesticulates and says, "Here you are." So I think that for the moment, we'll just have to trust in your instincts. Well then.
Thank you.
Yeah, and she says, just don't be too quick to make any decisions you have to live with for the rest of your life.
I understand. I appreciate the words of wisdom.
Yeah, meanwhile, Yannick in the boardroom with Vorian being like, well, my liege, perhaps if we had a large enough dowry. So, yeah, you guys meet back up. Faz, I assume you do look into apothecaries and people you might have connections with.
Yeah, and potentially reach out to some the druid, the castle druid.
Yeah, you talk to Quartz about it. Quartz doesn't have good industrial solutions, but he is an able eye, and you do know already around the castle grounds, some new trees are sprouting, and you know he always has little seeds that he's tossing from that dead tree you found him on. Those little spritlings, and you guys gather up after the whole conversation goes. And
What? Can I ask one thing really quick? Fazl,
Yes.
perhaps you should speak to Oberon, the alchemist that we gave leave to do his distillation.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea.
You want to talk to him about industrial? You go pay him a visit, and he says, "Ah, yes. I recall. I recall you, my good master of the hunt, Fazl. Tell me, what brings you? What brings you here?"
Oh, well, my friend, we are looking for an industrial source of medicine. Well, industrial amount of medicine and first aid. Tell me, how has
I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
It's all
How was
good.
your business?
Business is going great, and oh, I see you've had a bit of a cough. Here, I have something for that, and he hands you some schnapps.
Perfect. Yes.
And he says,
Cleared that right
"Oh
up.
well, business has been great, and the license that I've been granted is very generous, and I'm very happy with everything that I've been granted by the Emerald Rose. And we've had great industry and flourishing. The fields are so much more efficient now with the fertilizer we're able to make, and the river blossom is able to be turned into even more efficient sorghum, and the grain alcohol. The exports are high." And he talks about all his business, and you bring up these medicines. He says, "Ah, yes, medicine. That's quite the idea. I think that's possible. Yes. I'll just need... Well, we'll need more than me. We'll want to attract an able sort who can train reliable apprentices. When it comes to mass medication, you want reliability. It's not enough to have one man who can make a potion to save a hero. You need the salves to save the army. And that is a mass production affair." And he talks with you a bit about it, and he lets slip, I was actually an apprentice to an alchemist who produced potions for a knightly order once, yes, and he shoots the shit about it with you, and he says, "Well, I suppose you could, with enough coin, this could be established, yes. I think the warehouse district could expand its heavy alchemical distillation systems, and we could be making quite a bit more. It would require investment from Gatosh, but I'm sure the throne has the resources available."
Do you think you could teach a medicine to people who showed an aptitude for it?
Oh, of course, but there's a limit to how many apprentices one man can take on before he has to become a teacher full time. You know, my grandfather used to bang on about Ufanza's academy or something. I think it was one of her buildings she never built. He shrugs. But yes, if there was such a place, perhaps I could teach there, but as it is, I could only take on a few apprentices before I had to, give myself away from my work, and that is my livelihood.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's a very... Well, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
So, Yeah, you guys are dusted up, and in very short order, Vio says, you guys have a council meeting, and that happened in March 397, by the first full moon of April, the 16th.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't know time was gonna speed on like this.
Well, there's like
Oh.
interrogations and other stuff. My guy was giving me a lot of time advancing. So, if you want to do anything with the alchemist, that can happen during this period. But what happens is you get word from Yats, and the magistrate sends summons to bring Conrad Gold, because Vio has successfully filed, and the person who arrives to inform you of this is in fact an arbiter. And into your council chamber steps a summer elf, he's got sort of a stern posture, and he's wearing on a silver chain 2 interlocked halos, one broken, one not. And yeah, Arbiter, hey, are you fucking kidding me? No, I have this art. I have this fucking art. What are you doing to me? Come on. Come on. So anyway, he walks in, he is as I described, and he's in the council chamber with you. Thank you, Master Parker, for the Warrior of the Elite. Yum yum. And yeah, so he walks in. He's fairly imperious is one way to put it, but he's very matter of fact, and he says, "You understand that you have the Gold Rose child in your custody?"
Indeed, he has been well taken care of. His wounds tended to. He has been fed.
And this man was making war on your territory, yes.
That is correct.
I have been in contact with your master of letters. He nods to Vio, and Vio nods back. He says, I am the assigned the Inquisitor to this case. I have gathered all relevant facts on my journey here from the Gold Rose. I am prepared to argue the case as I see it in front of the magistrate. Are there any statements that you'd like to give, particularly as pertains to whether or not you feel this has violated the injunction against blood feud between your houses? As you are well aware, this injunction prevents either the gold or the emerald from making war upon the other, and there is grave consequence for either house that would violate this.
Indeed. The man in question admitted freely that his father schemed to take my lands from me first, originally whenever his wife was still alive via duel, and then when his wife died, that they were going to take the Snake Coast by any means necessary. The boy was given ample opportunity to surrender and retreat off of my lands. This wasn't just we accidentally came across the border and didn't realize it was yours. The village that he came into was well within my borders. He came first and warned the people to leave, that they were coming in to take the lands, and then rode in with his men whenever they refused.
Ah, I see. And he nods. And
I would point out, sir, I'm not sure exactly, Inquisitor, would that be
he
your
says he's an
title?
arbiter. You may refer to me as arbiter, for I am an arbiter of the law.
I see. Arbiter, the biggest thing that I would like to point out as well is that by this man's own words, he admitted that such activities will continue until one of our households is destroyed.
That is a statement worth noting. I will see what he is willing to corroborate at this time.
Vio, do you have anything to add?
Vio says, I believe I have put all of my formal statements into the complaint, but, and he looks at the Arbiter and he says, as one man who's lived a few hundred years to another, I'd say this is fairly self-explanatory. And Halen says, I assure you, time is no object to my inquiry. I appreciate this. I'm giving you official leave to keep him in your custody until such time as we reach the magistrate in Riats. Then and only then, remand him into Imperial custody, at which point in time, he will join us for the trial, where his father Ottred has also been summoned. There are multiple arbiters in the region overseeing activity. I warn you to take no breach of the peace or law. As indeed, I assure you, great auspice and view is also upon Ottred Gold. Go justly and in the law, and you will have nothing to fear. All will be revealed in this trial, and judgment passed.
Here in the Emerald Lands, we cleave to tradition, and we will follow these rules.
He nods. He says, "So I've heard." And also, this is what he looks like. He's got a bit of a jaw on him. But yeah, he has a white streak of hair in his white streak in his hair. So, yeah. So Arbiter Halen is here. Y'all are here, and everybody sort of packs up. And Daichi wishes you best of luck, brother. Never did like the law. Vorian goes counts some coins, and Court says, "Whew. I'm glad druids don't hold court in this sense. Seems like a bother. Lawyers and all." And you arrive in Riats, a city you've been in last to hunt cheesecake. And you arrive, and you have the man in your custody. And
oh, good. He's with us.
So he's.
Am I pushing him along? Because that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So I mean, when you get there, they're like, all right, the guards are gonna take him. Conrad Gold is put at this table.
So wait, if we're escorting him there before the guards take him, now that I'm not beating him in front of everyone else, I would grab his arm firmly and look him square in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Say, Conrad, this is an auspicious place for us to be right now. This is where you and I first met. This is where the possibility of friendship began and was smothered by your father. This is your time, your opportunity to become a true man. Let go of the shackles that your father has put onto you and do what is best for your people and not his vain glory. And then I kind of push him off before he has anything to say, and I stomp off.
All right. So you guys are brought to the various sides, and after some kerfuffle, Conrad has led us to the table with his father, and you, the representatives of the Emerald Rose, are here. And it is...
yeah, look at all of us.
Yeah,
you got two. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Your stupid hair.
Yeah, well, indeed. Actually, hold on. Did I downloaded the other dude who should be here's token, but I don't think I actually, yeah, okay.
Lucky your mom died, Conrad, or I'd be sleeping with her tonight.
So everybody's here. Oh! Yeah, so there is a scored on his side of the table. A handsome blonde bastard with a fine mustache. It looks like he's used to a more military life, but he doesn't mind getting in a soft shirt and having a drink now and again. He's ably at Ottred's side, and Gesvet van Riats, the magistrate, is there. He's in his robes, he's fitted his wig. He says, "Ooh, Arbiter, I believe we are about to hear the case between the Gold and the Emerald Rose, and a most disturbing affair disturbing the peace there has been so shortly after Imperial peace. War made in these lands. I have numerous eyewitness accounts of pillaging. My, how disturbing. Tell me the truth of this." And the Arbiter, Helene, says, "Indeed. As is known, I pledge myself only to law in the pact between heaven and hell." And I mean, it low-key looks like Seth. Yeah, so Arbiter Helene says, "Indeed, here are the facts as I have observed them. Conrad Gold acted in what he perceived to be his father's wishes against the Emerald Rose. It is undeniable that he was captured in battle, bringing a force under their banner against the Emerald Rose within their territory. This event did not fall within the time of Imperial peace, but it does fall within the term of their Imperial blood feud injunction. As such, they have violated an Imperial injunction. The only possibilities before us are thus. 1. Oughtred Gold has directed his son, in grief after the loss of his wife, to seize the lands of the man who took his siblings from him, who is now dead. He has cause for vengeance, but as this court notes, blood feud injunctions exist to end the cycles of vengeance. Therefore, that factor is irrelevant. So, we have determined motive, and we have determined means. We have placed the culprit at the scene. The magistrate is nodding along and saying, "Yes, yes. So is this one," he points to Conrad, "has this son of Zagraf has made this action?" "Yes. I can conclusively say Conrad Gold was responsible." And Oughtred Gold is looking like he's 1,000 miles staring into Yannick's eyes. And the magistrate says, "This is a grave offense. If the Golden Rose has committed it, confess now, and you, Oughtred, will be the only one to suffer the consequence. However, if a full inquest returns the same verdict, your family will be removed from the flame by force, and new landgrafts from the nobility instated in all of your provinces." And everyone gasps, and the Arbiter Halen says, "It is as the magistrate says."
So I know that Oughtred's mad dogging me, right?
Yeah.
I kind of want to blow him a kiss, but I don't. When this is mentioned, I'm looking dead at Conrad.
Yes.
I'm waiting for him to look at me, and if he does, I mouth, "For your people."
Yeah, and he looks at you. And he looks at him. And Oughtred said, "We deny all charges. This is nonsense." And this Arbiter Halen, who is Halen come lately from out... And then Conrad says, "Father. Father, please. Arbiter Halen, we've already spoken. As you said, you can prove conclusively that I was responsible for this. Yes. And that I perceived to be my father's will. Yes." Conrad steps up and says, "I commandeered my father's forces against his wishes to violate the blood feud. I alone should bear this punishment. It is not the Gold Realm nor my father that should pay. It is me. I am the one who has committed this crime." And Arbiter Halen says, "You stand by this confession? It has been in no way coerced?" "No, it is the truth."
You are going to let your son take the fall for you, you dishonorable lout!
Oughtred says, "Bind your tongue," and he looks at Conrad and says, "Conrad, tell me this isn't true. Tell me you didn't do it." And Conrad says, "I'm sorry, father, but I did it. I have brought dishonor and shame by burning villages in an undeclared war against those who were bound to peace with us by blood feud. The only reason I was able to strike so grievous a blow against the Emeralds is that Yannick Emerald honorably kept his family's end of the blood feud injunction. He only wanted peace between our people. Perhaps without me... You are my only son! Perhaps without me, there will be a passage to peace. Don't worry, father. There is the cadet branch, and more goodly people besides. I am certain that you will find a way through this. I am sorry that I have failed you as a son." And Conrad, Oughtred gets up and starts screaming every which way. Arn grabs him on the shoulder and says something really curt in his ear. And says, "Magistrate, we move to adjourn. I would speak with my liege." And Arbiter Halen says, "Magistrate, I object. We have a direct confession in open court." If this is a false confession, the arbiters will determine it, and there will be yet greater punishment for the gold. If, however, it is true, he nods his head and says he will bear the punishment. And Conrad says, "For my people, there is no greater burden. There's no burden too great to bear." And Magistrate Gesvit von Ratz says, "There's one thing I do not like about this case, Arbiter." And the Arbiter says, "My good magistrate," and he says, "All character references indicate that Conrad is an honorable man, and that Ottred is a man of great acumen," he says, euphemistically calling him, slimy. And the Arbiter says, "Yes, sir. However, all evidence presented in this court indicates that we can only be certain it was Conrad who acted. There is no direct link against Ottred. Furthermore, at this point, if Conrad confessed to contradict his own testimony and indict Ottred, it would be hard to believe either of his versions of events, and leave us with no further chain of evidence. Therefore, regardless of any further developments from him, I fear we must, for the moment, consider it as Conrad's guilt. If further evidence arises, the rest of the golds will be punished. In the event Conrad is lying, he has already committed a crime. If he by lying before this court, he's already committed a crime worth being jailed." And the magistrate says, "Well then," he picks up his gavel. "Here we have it. Yannick Emerald, you have been wronged again. I hereby declare the injunction is no longer in years. This blood feud injunction shall stand between Emerald and Gold until the days of Ottred and Yannick end. So long as either live, no war between the two. The borders will have Imperial Arbiter observation, and the gold will be closely monitored in all border provinces." And the Arbiter Halen says, "You pass I bring you the information. You pass the justice." And with that,
Justice?
yeah, and
This was justice?
Yo says, "Yannick, we're getting a good deal here. I know.
And I look at Vio and I'm like, our people died because they got too big for their britches. They rushed forth in breaking this law. And what's to stop them from breaking the law again? This is not a punishment to them. This is just a don't get caught next time."
Yeah, and the magistrate says, "You are quite right, Yannick. That is why we are placing Imperial observers and limit on all garrison on their provinces bordering your lands. If they bring men or companies of mercenaries pass through their border province, there will be an immediate inquest. Arbiter Halen, you will pass it along to the arbiters to ensure. All assurances are to be made to the Emerald Rose. I assure you, this unseemly behavior will not be permitted by the Empire." And Arbiter Halen says, "It is as he says. These men were allowed to pass into your lands due to laxity of the law. This will not happen again. We will further look into all responsible for ensuring the injunction be kept, and question thoroughly why they have failed to do their job. I assure you, if there is any further evidence to uncover, or there is anything untrue in what Conrad has said, I will find it. I have not forgotten your testimony to me. However, at the moment, I cannot prove it. But I assure you, this case may be far from over." And he looks very menacingly at Conrad.
I push myself up and it's like, if this is your judgment, then that is what we shall accept, and I will go to the graves of those who died for this sake and make sure that their widows and children and orphans know of the justice that was done here this day.
And the magistrate looks like, "Oh yes, it is good that you should comfort souls be grieved by the wrongdoings." Arbiter Halen, picking up on what you're saying, says, "I have presented only what I can prove, and proved only what I can present. However, as I said, this case may be far from over." And Arbiter Halen, he leaves. You leave. Overall, Halen does visit you one more time at your keep, and there are Imperial patrols now on the southern border, and he comes to give you a list of all people there, including people who were your prisoners who got convicted of various crimes like, brigandry, and mostly they were left to you. The main thing was, well, they did the crime in Emerald Lands. Emerald Hands will pass judgment. So that was all left to you. And Halen does come by, and he says, I do have one more question for you.
As you will.
He says, I notice a tower on your wall sometimes shines a brilliant amber. Given a descent, it was your grandfather's. He hasn't been seen around here for some time, but based on these reports, the man should be over 100 years of age. And sprightly for a man so old. Tell me, did your grandfather have any signs of elven ancestry, or perhaps a supernatural relationship of some kind?
Does he? Question mark?
He ain't never said none of that to you. You ain't never seen no elf here. I mean, it's said the family has very distant elfish descent by some, but you don't see any elf ears on anybody. You don't. I mean, if it's the case, it's very old.
Not that I know of. At least not in our histories, and obviously, not that I know of.
And do you happen to know where he is at the moment? There are questions I would love to ask him.
My grandfather has passed.
Here's the thing. You've actually never received any proof of that.
Right, no, I know that.
Yeah, but you say my grandfather has passed. He says,
yes.
Well, if that is the case, that is most regrettable. But I have heard reports that an old man...
as soon as we're done talking, I'm going up to that tower.
He says, I have heard reports of an old man fitting his description traveling the southern woods of your province of Quiance. If he is alive, well then, a hale and hearty old man is he. To his health. And he departs. But yeah, you check out the tower. It's full of library books, and it's got this weird metal thing in the middle of it. And it's got like a circular metal thing along the edge, and brass and gold. You examine it, but you puzzle over. We talk more about that. You guys are chilling. You guys are chilling after all of this, after some stressful times.
And I want to, before we finish chilling, I did want to handle one quick thing.
Absolutely.
Leeway.
Yes.
So as we're walking out, right, I'm like, let's go get a drink. And once we've kind of settled in,
you go to the tavern, and oh my god, you go to the tavern when they lock you out. You get a drink.
Yes.
Oh my god, perfect.
So I look at Leeway and I say, I can't do this. It took every ounce of my self-control not to get up and wring that scrawny little bastard's neck. From now on,
yes,
I will come up with the title. I will speak to Mother to find out what is in our traditions. There has to be something for it. You are going to be my ambassador with Fazil. The two of you will be the front of any relationship that we have with the Imperials.
Yes.
I will put us into a bad place. The two of you have more control on this, and I think this is not a bad thing. Do not take this as insult. I believe that I am better at the head of an army, and that the courtroom. Perhaps I'm fairly good at managing where money, on the broad scale. But whenever it comes to I regret to say this as it'll sound a little nasty, but the backstabbing and the negativity that comes along with the Imperials, I can't do it. And I think that the two of you coupled together would be better off handling that. Do you two accept this?
I would be
Yes,
honored.
of course.
Ow! Stop! Ow! Fuck!
Cat?
What happened?
Sorry, my cat is laying by my mouse.
Oh snap!
The best part of that is that the first thing you said to it was in Fazil's voice.
It was in character pain, my god. Commitment to the bit. I think that you're a good good guy. A good
Yeah.
guy.
So sorry that I just wanted to handle that real quick. That's
For
something
sure.
you and I talked about, Lee, and I wanted to make it official
Absolutely.
on
Right.
camp. So
You head back here, and you're not in the depths. You're not in the depths. You're not in the depths. There's a corpse rotting down there, but you know, you investigate the tower. You investigate all sorts of things, but more importantly, you spend some time up top, and there is on top of your castle a lovely gazebo building called the High Solar, where there are hanging gardens and nice stone and glass all around. There's a nice veranda, and the High Solar is a nice place to have, you know, a little chat and a little snack, a little snacky poo. And I'm grabbing every fucking person who I can really fast. Come on, Leland. You got to make this a fucking lightning round. Okay. So yeah, you guys are up here, and have I not put? Oh, I'm not going to put inherent light, but I'm going to make the sun appear. Yeah. So yeah, you guys are chilling on the veranda, and you know, some weeks go by, and Vios comes and says, "My liege, we have words of we have letters for you, and there's more letters, and several of them are from the von Bosses, both of them pursuing Yannick and Li Wei, and you also have news of someone to the north." And Vio says, "One of the northern provinces, one of the few northern provinces between here and the Rabes are allies at the edge of the coastal provinces in this circle of the Empire. They have a daughter of marrying age. It should seem that they seek an alliance. There is a mercenary lord who has grown powerful in the north. It is possible they seek to vouchsafe their security through an alliance with a strong leader. Virtually all of them are single province, small landgrafs. But that's one more province on your side in the event of a conflict. It could, however, lead to fights with the mercenary leader. It's worth noting that some think members of his company hired during the Civil War. If you recall, the mercenary crossbowmen who gave us our greeting across the River Gweth. And so you've heard about this person, and he says, as you're going over the letters, you actually hear Han Van Ham kind of like stumble up some stairs and squeeze, "My liege, these von Bonds have arrived." And Vio says, "They've arrived? They did not announce this." And Bobrin comes upstairs and says, "Hey, Li Wei, Yannick, there's two ladies downstairs, and they're beautiful, and I think they both want to marry you." As in either of you? I'm not sure, really. But they're very insistent, and they've just arrived. But also, more importantly, ships on the horizon, hundreds of sails. And he points out the window. If you guys squint on the horizon, you see perhaps 100 longship sails out at the edge as like bells start to toll and people start to sound horns. And so that's a bit of a situation that takes you from the High Solar, where as you're trying to go down, right? Because you're like, oh, there's hundreds of ships on the horizon. Alita and Hilda von Bass emerge right as they do, and both of them say, "Oh," and they each go to faint into Li Wei and Yannick's arms immediately. All right, how do you react? Alita's fainting into your arms, Li Wei. Hilda's fainting into your arms, Yannick. How are you reacting?
I'm gonna with the chaos. I'm gonna look at Yannick and say, I think the fight might be easier to deal with. I'm gonna cast Featherfall on these two so they fall safely, and we can. I'm just gonna run out.
You straight juke him! You straight juke him! And says,
Oh my god!
And Alita, as she falls, says, "Li Wei, your beautiful music.
History.
I am smitten at my first hearing of your toot of the flute." And you make the run. You make the run to the Great Hall, and from the battlements, Ike reports, "My liege, they have all dropped anchor save one. One lone ship approaches the harbor." We ask the intention by flag, and they say it is to parley. Shall we have them up? The boarding party is only 3 people.
Bring them up.
There was a great commotion. It is clear that Scordian longships, nearly 100 of them, are out on the water. And before you come 3 people. A beautiful princess of the north, an old beyond his years prince of the north, and an old surly large retainer with a great axe who steps forward, poof, poof, and says, Aeod Vyongar and Fortzada Vyongar of the Vyongar clan. And he kneels. And Aeod says, simply, he kneels, he says, have we come to the right place? Is this the hall of Sigrun and Sigrun's son Yannick and Aichi? And Aichi isn't here at the moment. He's doing priest stuff.
He's doing priest stuff. Seagrave is dead. I am lord of these halls, along with my brother Li Wei.
Then you have my sympathies, and a joy at the hand that you have another brother.
What brings you and all of these ships to our shores?
We come to you, Yannick, because they say you are a just law speaker. You got a reputation for staying your hand. That would be unfair. There are those in the north who fears the name Emerald, because your father was a fierce warrior. But we know what the Zilfang did to our clan when they came to our lands.
And when he says, I kind of look down a little bit, like remembering what my father, if that's what he's talking about, what my father did.
Yeah, well, he's referencing, he said that the guys who did that to were bastards too, and he says, now, they side with the Bunak. The High King was a tyrant, and now the fool is dead. We flee before an overwhelming horde of the Bunak, the Blue Orcs. They have come out of the North Pole. We do not believe the reports. We were fools. Now, through diplomacy and treachery, they have aligned with clans like the Zilfug, and they have driven out our people. I come to you a refugee without a home, because my people, the Vyongar, are more than the land we stand on. We are a proud people, and a resilient one. I think that you are a man who understands a good leader will never ask his people to die if there is no hope of victory. Unlimited hordes of the Bunak come from the north. All of the High King's treacherous little agreements fall apart. The king is dead, and there is much betrayal from within, who joins the invader. We have gathered everything we could and burned what we could not take, and we have come south. They say there is no place in the Empire for us but as thralls, but I do not believe this. I believe the tale of Yannick, the law speaker, that you are a man of justice. I come humbly to ask, but for a little land, for my people, and in return, I will be your strongest vassal, and fight your every battle from the front. Because I know you are a man who, unlike our foolish High King, will not be a treacherous tyrant, will not ask what cannot be given, and will not engage in foolhardy brinksmanship and abuse of his vassals that makes them weak and treacherous. And I know in your own civil war recently, you acted decisively, justly, and rewarded the loyal, and punished the wicked. That is why we the Vyongar come, and lay our swords at your feet. And he takes his sword off his belt, and he lays it on the ground, and he says, all we ask is a chance to prove ourselves as your vassals. And Fortzana says, indeed, dear Lord Yannick. And she kind of like throws her red shawl off in the back a little and flutters. And Vyongar, the retainer guy, is just kind of like there, standing like practically a little giant. And yeah, that's everyone looks around and starts to like whisper in like Scords as vassals. And yeah, all eyes are on Yannick and Li Wei and Fazil. Fazil, you're also here. I don't know if I lost your token somehow.
Yeah, I can't see.
So, yeah, all eyes are on you, Yannick.
So I would, whenever everyone starts to whisper, I would silence.
Everyone silences.
And so I would dig into my head for two different things. Number one, when it comes to the Scourds, when they offer something like this, is there a history of treachery with this kind of thing?
You have to dig deep on that one. Roll me a history roll. Anyone who wants to can roll the history roll to have ideas. And you could roll an insight if you want to think this. You can also roll an insight if you want to think this man is sincere.
Yes, I think that I let's see if I'm as insightful as I am history knowledge. I am even more insightful. This guy's lying to me. Son of a bitch.
You know that offers of vassalage are very rarely made because they represent a loss of face. And to do so insincerely is an even greater loss of face. You don't know this man's character. You know he's desperate. And you don't think he's lying about this. It would be a pretty far-fetched and easily sussed out lie.
Woo!
Yeah, Fazil, you confirm this dude would not remain in charge if he came to some southern lord and made a false offer of vassalage. It's bad enough that he's doing it, but, you know, with no alternative, people will take it. If he was lying about it, they would probably desert him. If he was like, oh, we're actually just kidding, we're going to betray him. Like, they'd probably straight up desert him at that point. So, yeah, based on all the history that Li Wei and Basil know, this guy's got to be sincere.
My king, as far as the Scourds are concerned, they would not bring this offer to us lightly. This isn't something that they would simply dangle as a bargaining chip. This is a big step. And to do so insincerely, well, that would be doom.
It is simply not done.
Right.
So I would push myself up from the chair. You know, I'd kind of point out too that the way that Yannick would have this all set up now with his father's chair would actually be sitting empty behind. It's a place of power, but Yannick would put Li Wei as his brother as equals with him, and Fazil would be on the same level. That throne would be seated whenever I'm alone. If Li Wei's off, Fazil's off, I would be sitting in that throne by myself. So these chairs are very similar. They would have the same design. I would push myself up from it, and I would walk up, and I would pick this sword up from the ground, and I would reach back behind him, and I would strap it back onto his hip. And I would say to him, understand what you are offering to me is not just your sword. We live by a code here, and it's not just a series of words. I think many of them you understand, the idea of courage and honor and loyalty and achieving perfection. And that we know that death stands behind perfection. And that I ask all of my vassals to simply die well with their weapons in their hands. You would be swearing fealty to me. You would be called upon for battle. You would be called upon to work the land as needed. I would note that the Scourds often have the people have issue with the Scourds here. I think that it will become necessary for you to not only be a warrior, but also an ambassador to my own people, because they would stop being my people and they would also be your people. If these things you accept, then I take you and your people into my lands.
He says, all of the vassal peoples under Yannick shall be my brothers. I will serve you. We will work the land. We will give you your due of its produce, as set by your laws. And whenever there's war, or the enemy makes war upon your lands, we will rise and come to the banner call and go into battle. Your loyal servants, from me until my clan of Younger are extinguished, we serve you.
You have my loyalty as I have yours. And I would walk back to Li Wei and I would look to him and I would say, brother, I have a very difficult task for you.
Yes, my king.
As steward of these lands, you must find a place for these people. I do not envy you your work.
Yeah, so with that, you end this up, and yeah, there are many resource issues that come up with, 98 long ships and all of the people that could fit on them being in your provinces now, and you face them in the coming days as you address the Scordian refugee resettlement. Additionally, we're gonna have a really quick rapid fire here. No, I'm not.
Let's do it!
Okay, so I encourage you in the spirit of Yannick to just like tell me if you're gonna buy this or not, and then figure out how you're gonna do it later. Okay. In order. A shipwright wants to start a school for naval architecture. Confirm, deny.
Confirm.
Okay. Off to a far start. Okay. 2 men, 2 brothers, Jackilder and Wilkenkranz, both the Grim, come to you, and they want to open something. They are calling a print workshoppy, and they are going to take the paper and reproduce it very quickly using the bardic magic.
Leeway. Choose.
Yes.
All right.
Confirm.
A man comes from afar and greets Li Wei and Young Chu and offers a breeding pair of Batari Stroland horses. They are very fine with a beautiful mane, and they are renowned as the durable horse of the Albardian Empire. A plain strider, yet also strong enough to stand under at least some armor.
Leeway. Choose.
Is that for what? Just for free?
No. You're paying these. You're handing over bags of gold, but you ain't stopping to count the gold in between. You're at a spending spree, Leeway. You...
Red hilt is enough for me.
All right. So no, is that X-Nay on the breeding pair? Okay.
X-Nay.
A group of Katorgo traveling merchants come and seek to engage you with their carts outside in a series of reciprocal gift givings. Roll me your best social skill, everyone who participates, to give an escalatingly good series of gifts.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Dirty 20.
All right.
Jeez,
all right.
dude.
All right. Yeah, you maybe don't get grasp. Okay.
This is why Leeway's in charge of that stuff.
Basil, they don't seem to understand the appreciation of all local herbs, but they nod appreciatively, and they give you a health potion. Yannick, you show them some cool swords, they show you some cool swords, you get the first fight. Leeway, you do such a good job of playing up, introducing, and engaging in all of the mingling of these grand objects. They grade you many other great treasures. In the end, you gain +1 wealth by sheer value of the exchange between them and the greatness of the gifts they render onto you.
Yes!
No, I can't be like this. This is my history tells me that this is important.
Okay. And
I don't die here. I don't die here.
+2 wealth. +2 wealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Further lightning round. This
I
Miyari.
got used
So
to it.
Boyar Zidane Torslava comes to you, and he
Oh.
says, "My liege, there is a very exciting business opportunity. You see, some of my cousins back east, the Zmiari, or the Serpent Thrak, the Thrak of the Snake, are putting together a grand trade expedition across the Isles to the west. If we give them some startup capitals, they will come back and we will be entitled to a good percentage. I come to you with this deal first before anyone else, because of course, you are a great man, and I know you are a shrewd one as well. And I know the realm could use a little..."
So I would say to Leeway, my heart says yes, but you
All right,
you should be the one to
confirm.
choose.
Confirm.
Alright. So, with great trepidation, Laurent the Burgomeister has returned. He's brought great gifts. And he submits himself before you and says, "My liege,
Yeah.
it has been many years since last I have seen you."
Yeah. Sure
And,
has.
Indeed. And of course, we've had great business in these times in Twin River, and thanks to the great rule of Renho Masaoke and Tenshi Zabate in your name, unlike the treacherous Watano, there has been a great flourishment of trade. And there are more raw resources coming out of Borm, and we know you seek to secure Borm. because you are a great and defensive leader. And as more and more raw resources come out of there, we have a proposal. We merchants, I represent not just the merchants of Twin River, but also of the realm. What if our realm, established within imperial guidelines, began to mint our own currency? And mint our own coins?
Oh
This
my
one I-
gosh.
This one I look at Fazil and Leeway. I'm like,
We
Off
have
with his
coins.
head.
Kill that man!
holy shit.
I'm kidding.
Vorian over here, pulling on his collar. That collar feeling real tight right now. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just.
I understand. It was a good jest, yes. But, of course, this is at your discretion, if you think it would be wise. And good for the realm. He's
Do you
very...
actually think it's good for the realm?
Just
Sure.
you could roll an insight.
I think I'm actually. Not bad at that.
Great.
Woo!
Let's go.
Clutch.
All right. Okay. Yeah, he definitely does things for the best of the realm, but he's also the kind of guy who thinks that like all like economic activity is kind of good for the realm. But you do think that he legitimately thinks this is going to help stabilize the local currency and control inflation and deflation due to like boom bust cycles of gold and silver mines.
Okay, but we're keeping an eye on you.
Of course, I welcome oversight. And okay, so established mint is go.
Yes.
Okay. Mint is go, refugees accepted, and so all this happens, right? The Von Boss sisters, yeah, at some point they are intruding on your hospitality, fainting around the place when word of the mint, someone has arrived in court, and is none other than the good lady Rose Gresny, who says, "My liege." She kind of curtsies. Her manservant kind of like adjusts her skirt as she kind of tries to almost tilt over. My liege, it is a pleasure, of course, and Fazil and Liwei and everyone to meet you. And your mom is very like, ooh, and the Von Bosses are watching from the sidelines, semi-mortified. And she
My
says,
lady.
"My liege, I'm here to discuss many things with you, including the word of the new mint, and also more disturbing report from the..." And a Ritter bursts in at this moment, and several people come up to him and say, hey, you can't just be rolling in here. He's like,
Who's this guy?
"Dragon!"
Kill his head. Dragon, I'm sorry.
There are reports of the... It is the Emerald and the Onyx Dragon from the north. They have burned the northern fields, and they're like, "My liege, should we let him up?" Or and she's actually, I was also going to talk to you about rumored sightings of dragons. Not gonna lie, so you might want to hear him out.
Yes, let him forward. I would have preferred to hear it from Lady Gresny, but
Yeah, so he comes up and he says, "I am from an order of Ritters who hunt these terrible beasts, and there is word that one lies in the north of the Vale. It is said that this is also this is a place found in the time between the years by your family, my liege, and we would handle this ourselves, but we are lost in how to reach it. And you do know, Yannick, that one of your fabled ancestors, referred to as the Stag, when your lands were reduced to one province, Wild Child in the Southern Woods, got stag's horns mounted on his helmet, went north, returned with the Emerald Sword. You've seen him in the flame offering you the blade. And he, one by one, went and successfully dungeoneered his way into every single lineal flame chamber, took it, stepped out, and said, "Anyone want to test me on that bitch?" And single combat killed everyone who did.
wow.
Yeah, so without raising an army at all, completely reconstituted the Emerald Vale's territories 100%. And this legendary figure was the last known wielder of the Emerald Blade, but because before he died, he returned it to the land where it was where he had found it, and he said it would wait there until his worthy descendant found it as he did. And
I think it's time to put some stag horns on my helmet then.
oh yeah, yeah. So and Alma says, "Oh, it is to be the Emerald Sword." And you remember in your dream, Yannick, you die with that sword falling by your side. Yeah, so you look to your comrades, and there's much to be done. And Leeway, you can't help but note that the Von Boss sisters both represent quite a bit of money, and that Northern lady represents alliance. And oh, did I mention the Vyungar princess? She was looking pretty charming as well. A lot of bridge between worlds opportunities there. Yeah, the marriageable prospects keep lining up. So, yeah. And all this happens as Li Wei, you feel the gravity of the Empire pulling you towards Auden.
Yeah.
And Fazil, how do you feel about the recent developments? Well, what effect do you think this has had on you, on your perspective?
Well, I love a good wedding.
Uh-huh.
So I hope there's some of those soon.
All right, so you're gonna be the wedding planner, to be clear here.
Great.
All right.
Wait, for real?
Oh goodness.
Well,
I'd say
you could, if Fazil wants to take up the job, yeah. Master of the hunt, master of the marital hunt, master of the love hunt. Come on.
Fazil, we can work together on this. If you want to plan the wedding, we can figure out trials for them to see who would be worthy of Yannick.
Trials?
The Emerald Bachelor.
Oh.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, I can handle.
Wow.
I can handle Emerald
You know what?
Roses.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yes.
It would. Yeah. So you're scheming that, and Yannick, the call of adventure is upon you. If the drakes and worms have come again from the Green Valley where dragons lie, that means the path to the Emerald Sword may be open in your time. It is time to achieve your fate or suffer your destiny. Now is the hour. And this is 10 minutes past the hour where we end the show. So, as our heroes sit on the throne and I manage to speed run the end of that session, our heroes get ready, and literally, next session is the last session. It is going to be 3 hours of going on an adventure. There's going to be dragons. And at the end, there's going to be love. Because, well, Yannick's going to get real familiar with the terrain, and then he's gonna come home, and we're gonna pick a wife. So
the terrain.
with that, we are going to flop a raid. Thank you all for coming out, dreamers, and don't forget we have Lee Caps, and also you'll find all these great people. You'll find them. You'll find Matt, Improv and RPG. You'll find TTA. You'll find them all over. You'll find Greg. You'll find him doing the VTube stuff. So. Thank you for the watering of the Lee. Thank you for everyone coming out. Great game, good battle. Great friends. I've seen new people in chat. I've seen old people in chat. Dionysus, Mag Parker, Timmy Slimmy, K something, Forlat, everyone. We love everyone. This is beautiful, good vibes only. I am pumping this motherfucking raid onto... I see Insomnia Night RPG. Praetor's Rejects. Praetor's Rejects is live. Why don't we go say hello to Praetor's Rejects, everyone? And they do a lot of D&D. I think they do Magic right now, but they do a lot of D&D. And yeah, ACUB did survive. We'll see what they do next time in the adventures. We're raiding out, though. Farewell. Farewell, friends.
Bye.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
Have a beautiful time.
Have a good time.
We have recaps on the YouTube channel. Diesel Shot, Full Cut, YouTube. And I'm hitting raid now. Bam.